seconds.
Welcome to Comic Book Spectrum, a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. Get ready to explore the world of comics, past, present, and future, with our panelists Eric Hawkins, Brian Rodman, and Clyde Hall. And now here's your host, Brian K. Morris.
And good evening, everyone. How the heck are you? Welcome to the Thursday, August 26th, 2021 edition of Comic Book Spectrum, issue number 26. Collect them all. Put them all in your Mylars and keep them forever. It'll pay for your college education. Anyway, we're glad you're here. I've got the usual gang with me, and we're going to be reviewing some new stuff tonight. But first of all, we got to say thank you. And the first one is Plasma Fire Graphics. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. You've worked hard on that book, and you want to have the best cover you can to turn your onlookers into customers, don't you? Well, then you need to contact Jeffrey Hayes at Plasma Fire Graphics. Go to his Facebook page. Check out his other great designs, such as this one for my latest release, Snow Ambition, number 4 in the Snow Short series, a one-shot, quick-read crime thriller. That's only 99 cents right now on Amazon. Anyway, Jeffrey Hayes, he does all kinds of great work. Check out his Facebook page and his web page, plasmafiregraphics.com, where you can contact him directly and get his rate card. Anyway, he's awesome. Plasma Fire Graphics, thank you for sponsoring this episode when the look of your book matters to you, because it matters to your reader. Anyway, we're glad to have them here. We're also glad to have the support of our Patreon subscribers. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can support your favorite creators directly with a small, modest, but very powerful financial stipend. And every month, in return for that, we do things for you, like our special blog and views of our works in progress and all kinds of news that we just don't tell anywhere else. So if you want the dirt on me, become my patron at www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. And if that weren't enough, I'm also thankful to the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. We've got your entertainment covered 7 days a week. So check it out. Later tonight will be Stupid O'Clock at 9 p.m. Eastern, followed by Last Man Standing at 11 p.m. with the great Dan Hollifield, also Joe Dog McKeel and Skunk Rocker, Dan, John, Heather, Bill, anyone else they can find. And then tomorrow we'll be back with a special episode of Nevermind the Furthermore. It will be live, and it will be at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central tomorrow morning. So check that out. And we'll have the announcement for that later. And I just noted, hey, and Google Chrome has just told me via Facebook that there's a show happening right now. And they've just started being on the air. But anyway, to prove it, I don't want to make Facebook a liar. So here they are, the other 3 members of this crew, Clyde Hall, Eric S. Hawkins, and Brian Rodman. How the heck are you guys tonight? Oh, what are we pointing at, Brian? And Luna. Luna, the Avenger. Justice in cat form.
She'll be offended if you don't include her. She'll haunt your dreams. She's powerful. She took notes when we watched Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh crap. Okay, sorry, Luna. I apologize. I will sacrifice a live mouse to your honor later on. Probably during the show. Who knows? We could use the ratings. So anyway, I'm not afraid to pander to felines. I'm telling you that right now. So anyway, we are prepared to have a great night. So let's start walking around the room here. Let's start with Brian, then Eric, then Clyde. Tell everyone who you are and why you are so amazing.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Brian Rodman. I am the author and illustrator of the horror fantasy comic book series Memoirs of an Angel. I am also the writer and illustrator of the post-apocalyptic action comedy, The Nebulizer. Also 1/3 of the Dastardly Dingoes podcast, which is launching the first Wednesday of October. We are going to be back and potentially having a crossover here soon. So need to talk to you guys about that after this. And yeah, that's it for me. I'm excited for the show. I got some really cool, I got a really cool book to talk about. I'm excited about it.
I'm excited too. I know what you're going to be talking about, and I think everyone should stay tuned for it. And now we have the one, the only Mr. Eric S. Hawkins. Eric?
He's muted.
Cue Eric! Oh.
He's muted.
Wonderful World of Oz. Did you mute me?
I did not intentionally.
I'm an artist, writer, penciler, inker, all that good stuff. And I have a love for comics. That's it.
What more do we need? All right, thank you, Eric. Sorry about that, brother. And let's get Clyde unmuted. I thought I got everyone here. So I can explain why I didn't get much of a response when I asked how you guys were. Anyway, Clyde, forgive me. Tell everybody why you're awesome and why I suck.
Well, I'm fine, first of all.
Good.
And, it was the dawn of yet another comic age of mankind. 10 years after Earth's MCU-DCEU cinematic war. The Comic Book Spectrum Project was a dream given form. Its goal, to prevent another fandom war by creating a show where critics and readers could work out their differences peacefully. It's a point of view, a comic book shop discussion away from the LCBS for old schoolers, young guns, creators, artists, and writers, casual collectors, and avid consumers faced with too many monthly title choices and trade paperbacks all alone in the night. It can be a dangerous place, but it's our last best hope for better comics. This is the story of our online review program. The year is 2021. The name of the place is Comic Book Spectrum, and I am part of the team here. I'm Clyde Hall. I'm an independent author, and I am also a contributing writer at Stormgate Press. I am in Pulp Reality 1 and 2 with my original character, B-Man, and you should check out www.stormgatepress.com. Get caught up on those issues because very soon, Pulp Reality number 3 will be available.
Most excellent. Thank you very much, Clyde. And I'm Brian K. Morris, independent publisher of comics and books, also writer, editor, occasional actor, former mortician's assistant, and Facebook famous YouTuber. Anyway, I am glad to be here hosting this show with my 3 co-hosts, giving them the proper gravitas here.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for this night. Yeah, we talk during the week. And we're still talking to each other today, which speaks well for these guys. But no,
we're on issue 26. If by now, if we've had problems, this would not have lasted this long.
That's true, or at least we've got problems we can all live with.
Right.
Although, if you keep up with this gravy tossing thing that you keep talking about, I'm out of the gravy tossing business. It's just not happening. Oh, gravitas.
Those might have been surprising.
Yeah, I was like, when did we talk about gravy tossing?
I didn't get no gravy tossing.
We need to put that mature rating up if we're going to talk about that stuff.
Yeah, it's not to be confused with salad tossing, okay? That's a whole other thing. So, how does Brian get away with this crap? He knows when to stop. That's when. That's why. But no, gravy's a food group. You don't toss your food groups around like that.
Exactly.
So at least in my house, it's a food group, so, which explains my manly girth. I do want to make a couple of announcements, though. There is a possibility, depending on the current governor's, Illinois has been told they got to wear masks, and this may affect whether we put on our live appearance at BergCon at the Bond Business Center, 540 North Commercial in Harrisburg, Illinois, Saturday, September 4th, I believe it is. Anyway, it's 2 Saturdays from now. Please come see us. Please come masks mask. Please be safe. And if at all possible, we will try to be there. You know, we were talking about this before the show. If we have a good enough signal, anyone who doesn't show up for health reasons can still be there. That's what those little phony things we have.
Mhm.
You know, that you make phone calls on, you take pictures and stuff.
Wait,
You know,
Take pictures with it.
this?
yeah.
Sometimes I draw on it even.
Well, that's because you're
I
amazing.
never use it to make a phone call though. Ridiculous.
Who
I use
talks
it-
on the phone anymore?
Will it do that when you take it out? When I take mine out of my Nokia holder, will it do that? Can it really broadcast?
We could find out a couple Saturdays from now. You never know. See, I just thought of that just now. So there's always a plan B. But no, I use my phone for ignoring phone calls. And the nice thing is about the call waiting feature is I know who I'm ignoring afterwards. Or even it's like, I don't know that city, screw them, you know, or I do know that city, screw them. And then they leave a message that I never pick up. See, so why am I paying this much money for a damn phone, you ask?
I have a fancy dancy thing that tells me when a phone call is spam.
Oh, I do
And I
too.
just-
Potential spam.
and I'm just like,
Spam.
If it
thank
doesn't
you.
come up with a name, I don't pick it up.
Nope. If I don't know you, I don't answer. And if
Mhm.
you don't leave a message, depending on who you are, if you leave a message, I might call you back or I might just text you because this is the year of our Lord 2021 and nobody talks on the phone anymore.
Exactly. So anyone that's calling me, anyway. But we might be able to get something going. You never know. And we also have people here who are
and by
comment.
the way,
What?
if
Yes.
anyone wants to hear Pritzker's press conference, I believe it's the first quarter of Return of the Jedi. He's on his big throne eating frogs and stuff.
And he's
With
bringing
no
out
mask. No mask on.
no mask.
He's got some girl
making-
chained up in a bikini.
No, that's the
Bring me
Secretary
Han
of
Solo
State.
and the Wookiee.
You don't want to know what the governor's feeding them to, though. That's an Illinois thing. Anyway, we've got wonderful people checking in. Donna, Carly, Carlene. Eric is secretly Ilya Kiryakin. Fangirl screams, then faints.
By the
He's-
way,
Yes.
OnlyFans has caved.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't even last a week, did it?
It barely lasted for. No, I mean, what's this OnlyFans you speak of?
Well, I would
Okay,
say-
we'll allow the explicit adult content. Jeez, we're not gonna have no money if we don't.
I think it was our conversation last week.
It
that
must have been.
That got him to cave. That was what it
Oh,
was.
yeah.
It
Yeah,
got somebody to cave, but I don't know who.
Yeah, see, this show has power, I'm telling you. And hello to Teresa Dunn. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening to you. Carl Witzman comes into the room, sees passed out Donna, steps over her to get a seat. Ever the gentleman, Carl, ever the gentleman. And he also points out that Clyde is not a number. He is a free man.
And I've also
There you
gotten-
Oh, yeah, now we're talking. Oh, you came prepared, buddy. And everyone's saying hello to each other. And thanks for the cheddar puff corn, Carl. That's code. And greetings programs from Brian Hawkins. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a Tron reference.
Here
is it
you
not?
go. It only took 2 years to figure that one out.
Boy, you thought there was no hope for me, huh? Anyway, Davies Artistry, good evening all. Cigars and comics, woohoo! Good to have you here, Ted. And great show this morning about your Star Wars stuff. That was fun. And you are welcome, dear. See, he is courteous and polite and just the model of a perfect gentleman these days. And hey, Brian H. and Ted, and hello, CBS crew. Good to see you here. And hey, Brian H. and Ted, and Donna. And Eric Hawkins says, this guy is never on time. Sheesh, yeah, I know. We have this habit of starting conversations at 6:59.
And they're very profound and in depth, and we must.
Yeah, they
finish
are.
them. Yes.
I'm a better human being for having heard them and told them, hey, stop. Anyway, and Grant Lankard, good evening to you, the artist and writer of Beowulf. Good to have you here. And from this Small Press Publisher, CBS, not Columbia Broadcasting Station. No, it's the Columbia. For once, I get to correct him. Columbia Broadcast System.
Mhm.
So I remember that from my misspent youth and the delightful Sarah. Sarah's here, moi. And I jumped when my phone pinged about the show going live. Well,
we have that effect on people. We understand.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same reason that you have that little ring doorbell. You know, you want as much warning as you can get.
Keep the fez away.
That's right.
You in there?
He's back. And Jared St. R. Amon, I have a new comic book I want to chat about in private. Well, good for you. We're going to talk about public comic books today. And Teresa, I hope you have a great one too. And Brian Rodman, 7 watching and only 5 likes. Fix it or Donna will hunt you down.
She will.
She's wanted in several countries for that sort of thing. You don't want to find out why.
Don't take the chance.
And let's see. And Teresa's having some issues here sent by someone's today's attack and the loss of someone close to my heart. Sorry to hear that, Teresa. And guess I'm a bit overly jumping today. You have the magic to calm us Nevermorians. Let there be calm upon the water. Let it the franticness be us. Oh no, we lost Brian. Anyway, and thank you, Ryan Permison, for sharing this. Check out the it's telling me.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I just got a notice from Streamer saying
Better wind up.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
you smell toast? What's going on, man?
Yeah, no. I got one of those drop down menus I'm reading, and then so we're having trouble connecting to Twitch. Get out of here. Just fix it. Don't tell me about this stuff, all right? Anyway, Ryan Permison, glad to have you here. The Nerd Culture channel is awesome and liked and shared. Thank you very much. And Ace Bonnie, good evening. Tonight's show is 3 men and a lady.
I'll be the lady. Why not?
And luck be a lady tonight. And
You
John
will if
Scar.
you play your cards right, sir. That's right.
Good night, everyone. Drive home safely. And good evening, all. It's good to see you, John Scarborough of Stupid O'Clock and Last Man Standing. Please check him out. He's going to be on in a couple hours, and he's funny and brilliant. We like him. And happy Thursday, CBS crew. How is everyone? We are doing well. We're glad you're here, and everyone's saying hello. And Luna is looking over this way now. Watch it.
Yep.
You realize Luna can see through the screen and sees what you're doing.
And stares into your soul.
That's right. Should you have one?
She's like your conscience, but evil.
Yeah. Well, it'll be fun having a conscience again. Anyway, the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, good to see you. Greetings and salivations. Just wipe up the drool when done. That's right. It's a safety hazard. And let's see. Oh, and Ryan Permison asked, why did Clyde shave the beard? This can't be true.
I know. I grieved as well when I saw your face. No offense.
Well, it was one of those mornings I got up and I started to trim it, and I did. And it was one of those, that's going to not look so, it's going to be, okay, you know what? Let's just start again.
You should have just went with the porn stash, man.
No.
Speaking of porn stashes.
Where's that mute button? Where does that mute button?
Oh, no.
I saw the hedgehog had to appear in court today.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Hedgehog?
Ron Jeremy.
Yeah, Ron Jeremy. Yeah. Did you see that if he is Ron has been convicted, or not convicted, but he has been convicted, indicted, right?
Yeah.
He was indicted, rather. Thank you.
30
for something like almost 24 different sexual assault related stuff, including one on somebody who was under 15.
Yep.
So I always had a feeling about that guy. You know?
I mean, he kind of looks like the troll under the bridge. So
yeah. Well, and I was also reading in this one article online that he faces 300. If he's convicted of all of them, 333. What?
I'm sorry. I just saw Sarah's comment.
Okay, we'll get to Sarah's comment now reluctantly. Anyway, but no, he could wind up getting 330, something like 330 years in prison to life.
Jeez. Well, he doesn't have much life left.
I'm surprised he's still alive.
I mean, he almost died a few years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rather sickly, but it's just the idea that when your 330 years are up, Mr. Jeremy, you're a free man again. You've paid your debt to society.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Gashani.
Jeez.
But
You think they might
anyway,
do him like the what was the movie Resurrection Man?
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they freeze him. They had
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes. And,
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe they'll
Sylvester
make
Stallone.
maybe they'll make a porn pop out of it. That would be.
Oh no.
Corn pops.
I don't want to.
Normally you use a stick in those things. However,
I don't. Oh, that sounds very uncomfortable.
I'll put a
I
new
don't-
shelf right here for those.
Well, it's time to thaw out Jeremy.
yeah.
We'll go over there at the biohazard container and just.
This show used to be about comic books, but no, I'm also envisioning the Funko Pops that will now be on Eric's shelf. It's like, I've got my collection. Oh, hit me in the back of the head again. Anyway, boy, we're going to hell. Anyway, let's change the subject real damn fast. Ryan Purposes says, I see 2 future guests, and I quote before that recent conversation. Don't miss the special premiere of And I Quote September 4th at 12 p.m. Eastern with special guest Clyde Hall. Excellent. Cool.
I don't think I can get it to grow back before then, but I'll try. I may try. So
You could always get one of those fake ones. That'll look great.
Yeah.
No,
I got an eyebrow
Call
pencil.
out
I'll
because
use
two of my
it.
grandchildren are watching. Hi, Nick.
That's what I was giggling about. It's like, Eric, look out, buddy.
Yeah. Remember, it was Eric that brought that last segment up, too.
That's true.
Anyway.
No. Brian said porn stash, and I said,
Oh,
"Speaking
but
of porn
see,
stash."
I did, and then you brought the whole subject around. It was just a statement about his mustache. It was a group effort. Let's just say.
It's
it.
Clyde's fault because
Yeah.
it's shaved.
Yeah, we'll blame Clyde. I like this. It gets the heat off both of us, so we're good.
Yeah. But it's not like I couldn't have stopped you. But anyway, did anyone get the royalty check from BKM for watching the show? No, it's more like hazardous pay, judging by the last segment. So, that brings up the YouTube challenge, though. That brings up the YouTube challenge. In case you have not heard, I have a YouTube challenge. As things stand right now, at this moment, I have 589 subscribers on YouTube, probably substantially fewer after the last 3 minutes. But anyway, if I can get that number up to 1,100 by the end of Halloween night, we will have a special 12-hour live broadcast, which we will unveil the pod catheter or my bladder will explode live on the interwebs. It will be gloriously entertaining either way. We're going to have guests. We're going to have also some giveaways to celebrate the occasion, but we have to hit 1,100 subscriptions by the end of Halloween night. So please share the show. Please talk us up, and let's get some more subscribers on here. Because one of the things I'm going to do, and I've stated this publicly, so I'm honor bound, such as it is, to execute it, is that some of the monetization will trickle down to members of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. That will help create better shows and more challenging ones, and just all kinds of fun. So anyway, please subscribe if you haven't already. Please give us a thumbs up on YouTube. And yes, Eric?
I have an idea.
No, it's not a good idea.
During
No,
12-hour broadcast, you need to do the milk crate challenge.
don't do it, Brian. This man is 65. You're going to kill him. Don't do that.
He's agile like a kitty cat.
I could trip over the pattern in the linoleum.
Well, your milk crate challenge will only be 1 stack tall.
That's true. That's true. I had thought of that. It'd be like 1, 2, 1. I don't see what the big deal is. I'm still old enough that kind of fall could still do me in. But anyway, I tell you what, we will do a milk crate challenge.
Oh, no. See what you've done. You
We will
put
do a
the
milk
idea
crate
in his
challenge.
head. Oh, no.
There's nothing like continuing the rest of the 12-hour broadcast,
From the hospital.
from Bodycast
Ambulance to the hospital.
from Bodycast Brian.
This stuff
This
is
was an
lining up
interesting
here.
show.
This is lining up. I like this. We'll talk after the show. Anyway, Carl Witzman, our spokesman here, says, Jarrett, they don't do here, but perhaps someone will contact you later. Please stay and enjoy the show, though. Please do. Jarrett, we would love it if you did. And he says, Donna, Carly, and I think I got to Sarah's. What on earth is Clyde talking about? You're probably saying that for all four of us now. Sarah, we love you. So anyway, we just had a comment dump. It's that good. And Ryan Permison just read Pulp Reality 2 this week. Congratulations, everyone. Can't wait for issue 3. Cool. I think, Clyde, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that issue 3, the deadline for contributors is just like a couple days from now, I believe.
October 1st.
October 1st. So they're working on volume 3 even as we speak.
Literally.
And I've
been literally working on it this week.
And I didn't pitch anything, so I'm good. That's okay. I've got an editing job. I'm just finishing either tonight or tomorrow, so we'll hope. Anyway, Ryan Permison has a question. Where does Clyde get those wonderful hats? Clyde?
My wife she worked at a secondhand shop, and she still has connections there. And when they get a load of hats in, different kinds of hats, a lot of times we get a phone call. So that's been our main source of different kinds of hats for cosplay. And now for the show, I have a whole bevy of hats lined up as the season goes along. So not all of them are collectible. Some of them are quite old, and then some of them are just cool. So
very, very cool. Thank you very much. And Ace Bonnie continues, or tossing cookies. That's a very real possibility. And for Benton, I hope it doesn't cancel. So do we. As far as we know, as of today, the Benton is still on. Now, it may require masks, Sarah, is the one thing, or some sort of face shield. But we will find out before then. I believe that's the 14th, I believe it is, of September, or the 21st. Anyway, there is an event page on Facebook, and we will be talking more about it as the time comes. And that explains a lot, says Amy Hale. Yeah, happy birthday to Amy.
Happy birthday, Amy.
Happy birthday.
Yay. Yay, Amy. And she's another year younger. And Ryan Permison just rewatched Batman and Robin for the first time in many years. I can't believe I enjoyed this as a kid because it is so bad for several reasons. Anyone else have revelations about past films? Yes, Brian.
Look, I gotta say, I have a very unpopular opinion about this movie. I love Batman and Robin. This is why I love Batman and Robin, because it knows what it is and it doubles down on the stupidity. Like, there's no way that Joel Schumacher, George Clooney, there's no way they were taking this seriously. Like, I would argue George Clooney is a great successor to Adam West's Batman because he's campy, he is, witty, quippy, which is not comic book accurate, but neither was the 66 show. And Arnold Schwarzenegger is a gem in that movie. And I say this from experience, do not use the ice puns in that movie as a drinking game. Because you may die of liver poisoning by the end of it. I do have a fun story with that. One of my friends ended up passing out. So, yeah, there's that. But
for alcohol toxemia.
We didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. What happened? He's a smaller fellow. And I was essentially, I would fill up my drink and I'd fill up his, and I put the same amount. And I'm much bigger than he is, and it didn't affect me, and it really affected him. And about 25, 30 minutes in, he was down, and I was like, oh, no. So me and my other friends, we were like, we turned the movie off, and we just fed him crackers and rubbed his sternum so he couldn't fall asleep. Yeah, it was his birthday.
Oh. Man.
Got drinks poured into him, watched a terrible film, and got his sternum rubbed. I mean, that sounds like a full night to me.
But I love that movie. I think it's fun. I actually like it more than Batman Forever because Batman Forever doesn't know what it is.
It's the second one?
That's the third one.
Third one. With
Val Kilmer.
I think the part of Batman and Robin that is hard for me to take in rewatching it, and I do like parts of it, but the Michael Gough as Alfred,
Yeah.
And some of his lines, he's just, I don't know, he's quite older, he's elderly, and they did not write Alfred is nicely written in almost every movie except that one. And he has some lines that you just go, oh, ow, my liver. Oh, stop, please. Other than that, there's a lot to like there.
Yeah, I watched Batman Forever and Batman and Robin back to back one day recently.
I'm sorry.
And I wasn't breathing very well, which is why I chose to do that. But
did you have the little white out and whipping yourself in the back too?
Goodbye, cruel world. Click.
And look, I will never argue with anybody that those two movies are any good at all. But I do appreciate Batman and Robin more, and I will say the scene between Bruce Wayne and Alfred when Alfred's sick in bed,
that one
is an excellent scene. Yep. Aside from how campy the movie is, aside from how terrible Alicia Silverstone's acting is, it is a great scene because you don't really get that in any other Batman movie.
That maybe and the scenes with Alfred and Alicia Silverstone, those are the ones that just really
they're rough.
You're right, I've forgotten. The one with Bruce Wayne and Alfred, that one works quite well. So maybe it's more the dynamics of who's on screen there.
I think it was Alicia Silverstone in that role because I think she was good in other things. But yeah,
I love the line. I love lines like she wants to kill you, Dick.
Oh gosh. And I love it. Every time he delivers a line, he always has that little head bob. He's always got the head bob going. I'm like, just hold still, sir. What are you doing? But I gotta tell you, Arnold Schwarzenegger is absolutely my favorite part. He had so much fun. You could tell he had a blast making that movie. So,
and who better to give those kind of lines? Because that's practically his whole classic film career. No, I actually, except for the scene about the Bat credit card.
Oh God,
that was just too camp for me.
So
but the rest of it, I thought it was a beautiful movie. I think George Clooney is actually my favorite Batman because he balances a good Bruce Wayne and a good Batman.
He's a great Bruce Wayne. He really is. He's an excellent Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, and I liked his Batman better than I like the other twos, but and that's not a popular opinion. Let's just put it this way: I liked Batman and Robin far more than I like Superman 4. That puts it in perspective.
Oh gosh, well, Superman 4 wasn't even fun to watch.
Is that the Quest for Peace?
Yeah, Nuclear Man. Bad. They tried to do some weird, economic statement. And I was like, oh no, it's so bad.
Yeah.
So, But Batman and Robin, at least they had fun.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, Eric, did you ever have a revelation like this, or Clyde, or? Well, I'm siding with Brian.
No, I still can't stand those movies.
And he doesn't like us much now either.
I don't think I've gone back and watched that one in a long time. Actually, as far as the first Batman series went, I thought at the end of 2 is where they started getting bad.
Yeah.
I didn't think Danny DeVito was a great Penguin. I'm sorry.
See, I like
when Batman rips off his mask. That was just weird.
I gotta say, I am so biased when it comes to Batman Returns because that is the movie that I watched. I had it taped on TV. I had it taped, and I watched that probably more than any movie from ages like 8 to 12. I watched that on repeat. My parents could quote the movie. But yeah, I love Batman Returns, and so now I can't be objective at all.
And this might surprise people, but after Michael, I put Michael Keaton number 1 in movie Batmans, and I will put Ben Affleck number 2.
I do as well. I think he's probably the most comic book accurate of all the bunch.
And when I first heard Ben Affleck, I was like, oh, no.
I was worried. Yeah.
I was worried. All I could think of was all of his appearances in Kevin Smith movies.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. A lot of the Batman actors, or at least prominent ones, have had that, oh crap, it's him. From Michael Keaton, from, I remember reading some people like Christian Bale. Oh my God, he was an American Psycho. He'll be too intense for this, that sort of thing. Yeah. And then Ben Affleck, and everybody's like, ah! So
people lost their minds when Ben Affleck was cast.
Oh my God. But the thing is that if you've ever seen Geely, that was that horrible one. It's not a great film.
That movie.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
He's good. He's good. The film is garbage, but he is acting his backside off to try to save this thing. He fails. He fails dramatically.
I like Jersey Girl that came out right after.
Jersey Girl was good.
Everybody hated that because
it was
Lopez was in at the very beginning for 5 seconds.
Yeah,
I got to say, like, I think what got me, what I was never worried with Ben Affleck. With Ben Affleck originally, I was worried for like a day, and then I realized this guy disappeared for like 12 years and came back an amazing director and performer. I mean, really, everything from The Town on was excellent, and he's such a good director. If it says Ben Affleck is directing it, I'm going to see it. I've seen every movie of his, and they're all great.
That's why I was so excited when initially he was going
Even Reindeer Games?
I like Reindeer Games. Did he direct that?
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? No, I mean,
close.
I've seen every single one of his directed movies. Yeah. I haven't seen every one of his acting movies.
Well, that's why I was looking forward to having him direct his own Batman film. I thought that would be really fantastic. But then, and then it kind of morphed into Robert Patterson. And then again, how many people? Oh my God, that's the guy from Twilight.
Which I think he'll do such a good job because he's a great actor.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I really am.
Everybody said that about him after they saw was it Lighthouse?
The Lighthouse. Yeah.
So I watched The Lighthouse. That movie is just messed up all kinds of directions.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe is off the rails in that movie. And
he wasn't too tightly attached to them before the movie. It's just as far as his on.
No, he's like this generation's Klaus Kinski, You're just not sure what's going to happen when he sets foot on the stage. Send your recommendations for terrible films to Eric S. Hawkins at. Anyway, we haven't hit one that he likes yet. And yes, that's actually Carl in a bikini. How would you know? And preach the texting, Donna Carlene. We do. And I got an actual call from the real Social Security Administration today, and it wasn't spam or a scam. Good news for us. Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Grant Lankert got a check a couple weeks ago, and we got a check, and turns out it was like a recalculation of our income taxes based on the new tax laws.
Oh, that's nice.
So we got a little extra money. That's kind of nice. And Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Yeah, there we go. It says, I ignore my phone faster than I ignore my wife's rants. Oh, my gosh.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, and Sarah, Illinois, where all the governors meet up in prison. That's right.
That's what I was saying. Yes.
Yeah. And hello, Amy Hale and Joe McKeel of Stupid O'Clock at 9:00 tonight. Okay, now I'm not playing imposter. Sorry, good man. And yes, BKM from the Desk of the Small Press Publisher, Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Now for Donna's car. Which character said it in Tron? Sarah, let's moving on. OMG, the doorbell goes off when somebody steps on the porch. I go off when somebody calls me. Anyway, what are they calling me for now? Wait a doggone minute. Clyde shaved and it was looking so good.
And it will again. It will again. Don't worry.
Yeah, build me back, Carl. Don't worry. And hello, gents. Hello, Doris Jones, Labors of Love. Mwah. Please subscribe to that channel today. It's awesome. And from the Small Press Publisher, hey, Carl, did Clyde get the cliff notes from our comic book review show? His review will be met without those notes. And no, Sarah, you weren't. And no, we aren't. And Jennifer Hawkins, thank goodness. Jennifer, mwah. Eric Hawkins, your grandchildren are confused. They keep saying hi, Papa. Please say hi to Hayden, and Reagan.
I already did.
They're your grandchildren.
There we go.
That's 2 of 8.
Oh
wow!
All right.
Somebody's been busy, and Uncle Brian there says, "I think I've seen Ron Jeremy in a movie." Deny everything your family is watching, and
No,
I didn't start this.
He was in Boondock Saints.
That's true. He was.
Yeah,
He was in one of the reality shows. Wasn't that the same one with China and
I don't
the
talk
little
about
Vern
those.
guy and
The what?
Vern?
Little Fern?
Vern.
Oh, he said the little Fern guy. I was like, who is that?
I'm trying not to say midget, okay?
Oh, okay.
The guy from the Austin
Today's
Powers
review
movie.
is
Oh, yeah, okay.
No, he was. I watched him on a season though. It was kind of crazy.
yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
Sarah, you are totally absolved of any
Well
blame. Brought the whole thing around like a. Oh, okay, we're moving on, Sarah.
Oh,
And now Joe D says, Carl Wisman, we are not going to compete with the show and steal Clyde and put on Comic Book Rainbow on Thursday night. Oh. And Cindy kept sneaks into the back of the room because she heard all the crap that's gone on before. I don't blame you, Cindy. We may be joining you too. And the YouTube challenge, much better than the milk crate challenge. Yes, it is, because then only I am injured. And Ted Davies says, I'll be suppling coffee. I think he means sipping coffee.
I'm not sure what he means.
yeah, I was like, what's happening to Ted? What's going on?
For the 12-hour event. You better, by God. And Sarah says, what is a milk crate challenge? That's where they build up milk crates in kind of a pyramid. And they walk up it, the milk crates fall over, and people go to the hospitals, and they're blocked with COVID patients, so they die. Okay?
Sarah, just put it on YouTube and enjoy the show. It is a ridiculous display of stupidity.
It's
I've
true.
seen one video of like a guy's got to be 300 pounds doing it.
Yep, I saw that one. Yeah.
I'm almost there. Anyway, Carl Wisman says, hey, Keisha Acuff came to the green room from her hospital bed, so the milk crate challenge could work. I've got a gig already lined up, and love you too. Yep. And let's see, and I'm cooling where it's on the 18th. Okay, I thought so. Thank you, Sarah. And we're glad you went to Goodwill. Anyway, fed him crackers and rubbed his sternum. TMI, says Carl Wisman.
I would do the same for you, Carl.
That is not an absolution. That's
this is when did this turn into Never Mind the Furthermore? And I used to lose on purpose when I played the shot checker so I could have a shot of yumminess when their shot glasses jumped mine. Now we know Sarah's favorite game here. And Amy Hale didn't know that Brian Rodman was a masochist. And Sidney Captain is so far behind on superhero movies, the theaters are treacherous even without the super cootie, and my roomies hate them. Well, that's those video things are for. So, and thank you for the birthday wishes. Thank you, birthday girl. We appreciate your being here. And people are saying the same thing about the guy from Twilight, Robert Pattinson, and Ted Davies. And I did tell Ted we're going to have some DC reviews tonight. He was overjoyed. And Argo, Affleck, and Defoe and Boondock Saints. Yeah. And Nick Cage is this generation's
that is true. I agree with that.
I won't argue that one at all. And Sarah doesn't blame me for skipping those comments. I didn't start it. No. But anyway, and Tammy Faye Baker was also in that show, Eric.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, was she really?
Yeah, it was a wild group of people you wouldn't even imagine together. Yeah, wow. It was really cool. I enjoyed it. I watched every episode of that one.
I did too, back when I was watching TV, yeah. And Brian Hawkins says, I gave Brian the answer to who says it in Tron yesterday. Let's see if he remembers. It was the guy who was in Tron, okay? Anyway, see, I'm hip. And thanks, B. Rodman, I think.
You're welcome.
And Cindy Cap says, I need exactly one milk crate to succeed at the milk crate challenge. 2 or more would be catastrophic failure. You're giving me an out here, Cindy. I love you. And let's see. And oh, Lord, Brian, you better not try that. It's dangerous enough just going down my stairs. Yes, that's true. I almost gave myself a concussion. We went to visit Sarah a few weeks ago on Free Comic Book Day, brought her some fresh comics. And the thing is, if my foot is like this, her steps are like this. If that isn't a recipe for a good YouTube video, I don't know what is. But Cookie had to back down the stairs to make sure she had enough footing. and Sarah was trying to catch her, and I was behind Sarah ready to catch her when the inevitable would happen, and I forgot there was like this beam across the bottom of the stair, the entrance stairway, and I turned around and went bam. So but Cookie's fine.
I laughed when I figured out what he was going to say. Brian laughed when he said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, clearly he's fine, so it's funny.
Yeah. He only got hit in the head. It's not like he keeps anything up there. And
I love when people hurt themselves.
Yes, anyone could laugh at themselves, but it takes something special to laugh at others. Ace Body is looking for an order to get out of this conversation. As soon as you find one, let us know. And happy birthday to Ooze Amy. Oh, yes. And the patio swing, which we aren't going to talk about on here, and DC reviews. Yeah. So said your enthusiasm is infectious, sir. We'll get to them as quickly as we can. Sarah, my house is a challenge in and of itself, and we're the Three Stooges. We're the Four Stooges. We take turns being Shemp, though. So anyway, we have gone through the comments. Welcome to everyone who is here, and welcome, never mind the furthermore, for a Friday morning. No, wait a second. And Joe McKeel says that is why Brian K. Morris is more coherent. That beam knocked some sense into him. Evidently not, because I'm still here. Anyway, I think it's time to do some comic reviews. Dear God, let it be so. And I think we'll start with Brian Rodman. Why don't we?
Sure, why not?
All right, Brian, take it away, my friend.
So, all right. This week's review is King Spawn #1. And before I jump into it, I got to say, I used to be a huge Spawn fan. I'm still a Spawn fan, but I got out of reading Spawn a while ago, and it wasn't intentional. It just kind of, it happened. But I love the original 90s run. I love the movie. I love the animated series on HBO. Keith David did the voice of Spawn. It was fantastic. And I've been waiting to kind of like jump back in. I thought I might jump back in at Spawn issue 300, but I was like, I feel like that would be a weird place to jump in. So this is a new #1 featuring Spawn, and I thought, you know what, why not? And we'll see if I can, kind of put some things together. And I gotta say, they did a really good job. I read this, and I was afraid that I would be lost. There are definitely things in here that I don't understand, but it doesn't ruin the story. It actually makes me curious enough to go back and read it all. So as soon as I finish up, I'm rereading all of the Hellboy universe right now. So once I'm done there, I'm actually going to go back and start from Spawn #1 and go forward from there. And actually, let's see.
Don't hurt him, Luna.
I got this guy right here.
Ooh.
That is a prized possession of mine.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's a Spawn #1 signed by Todd McFarlane, just like everyone else in America has. But let's jump in. So there's a lot of credits, which I'm glad. The script and plot were by Sean Lewis and Todd McFarlane. The art was by Javi Fernandez, and the inker is Adelso Corona and Daniel Henriquez. Colors are, look it up because I can't pronounce that. And then they have additional colors are Andrew Dahlhaus, Marcelo Mayalo, Peter Steigerwald, and Dave McCaig. Lettering is Ann World Design and Tom Orzechowski. And then there are a lot of different covers. So I'm not entirely sure which cover I have, but there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 different covers. I'll have to hunt down the Greg Capullo one because I want that. So anyway, I jumped in, and you're introduced to a seemingly nice, I guess this is an elementary school or preschool teacher, and he is talking to his class, and it's a little weird. he says, anyone here know what the Bible is? And different. It's like a comic book. Oh, it's filled with monsters. Blah blah blah. He's like, no monsters, just love. And then he takes out his phone and he's messing with it. And he tells the kids, he says, "Don't worry, there's not much time. You need to hear this." And as he starts to sing a kind of like a Sunday school song, he blows them up. Which is in Spawn fashion, because this is dark. Spawn is dark, and I love it. It's so great. And so then we are, it does, some really cool shots of the school exploding and how far back you can see it. And that's pretty cool. And then we jump to Spawn and one of his agents at one of the children's graveside ceremony, and he's off in the distance. And they're talking about what this could be. What's going on is this, and Spawn describes that it could be heaven, an agent of heaven or hell, which is weird. And then he describes, because when you think about, well, an agent of heaven, like an angel or something, like, why would they blow up a bunch of kids? And his agent actually asks him that, and Spawn says essentially to get the attention of the enemy, or to lure the enemy there, because a lot of violence will draw demonic activity, and then they can pounce on them. So it's very, and this has kind of always been the mythology of Spawn, is kind of taking that Christian mythos and kind of turning it on its head, where heaven and hell, it's not necessarily good versus evil. It's just two sides of a similar coin that are using humans and Earth as essentially its war field. It's a very interesting take on Christianity, which I've always thought it was. I've always been intrigued by Spawn and just kind of how it takes the things of my faith and just kind of tweaks them. It's kind of like the supernatural mythos a little bit as well. And the thing that struck me immediately about this issue is, first of all, check this artwork out of just Spawn standing off at the cemetery with his agent. And when I say his agent, he describes kind of how he is very much like the Shadow, apparently now, where he is still fighting the forces of apparently heaven and hell, but he has agents from both sides on the Earth plane who are his informants, very much like the Shadow. So it's a really cool dynamic. It really, I dig it a lot. And through this scene, he's just talking about, the different possibilities, who could be doing this, who could be behind it. And then a new cult starts popping up, and it's called Psalm 137, I believe. Let me double check that. Anyway, yes, I believe it is Psalm 137, which is essentially a victory celebration poem, if you will, that talks about smashing babies' heads against the rocks of the opposing side. And so this cult takes that and runs with it. And you start to see that is kind of their motto. So they're actually like intentionally going after the weakest of people, and that is children. And they're trying to essentially get somebody's attention, and you'll find that out at the end of the issue. So Spawn throughout the issue, it's just a really cool panel that I thought was just an epic picture of him. Look at that. They did such a good job. And he's going through and he's trying to figure out who could be behind this. At one point, they think it might be Metatron, and then something happens where it turns out that it is not, in fact, Metatron. And there's a 2-page spread in this that I can't show on this show, but it is. I probably stared at this 2-page spread for a good 5 minutes, because it is if you love 80s horror, like just kind of cheesy 80s horror, you're gonna love this 2-page spread. It's very much, it reads like classic Spawn. It's like a superhero in a 1980s horror movie, and I love that about Spawn. And this does not pull any punches. One thing that I really did find interesting, and this is no secret, I'm a Christian, and I did notice that there is a lot of discussion about Old Testament violence in this story in the Bible, and that is something that I have, and many people, Christians, non-Christians alike, have really struggled with that. We're looking like, why are there psalms that praise smashing children's heads against the rocks, and then you've got like Jesus on the other hand, who's like completely the opposite of this? And so it's actually this issue which dives deep into that. I mean, my goodness, the antagonists of this issue and of this arc, the whole reason they're doing what they're doing is based on this psalm. And so as a Christian, I've kind of gone through this, and I'm a firm believer of no matter what your faith is, if you're a pagan belief, know why you believe what you believe. If you're Christian, if you're Muslim, if you're whatever, know why you believe what you believe, and do the real research and ask the hard questions. And so I just have to say, and I'll be writing a blog about this, I'm really curious just to see where this story goes, because I feel like how Todd McFarlane and company is approaching this arc it's just really, really intriguing, and it really brings about a really common problem that a lot of people find with the Bible. And I would say if you're a huge nerd and you love academic books, there's a 2-volume book series called Crucifixion of the Warrior God by a guy I love named Greg Boyd. If you're interested in this topic, and you love books like this, then I would definitely recommend picking this up to learn more about it. Or there's a much shorter, less academic version by Greg Boyd as well called Cross Vision, and it's all this stuff, just less like diving into the languages and things. But I thought that it's the reason I bring this up is I hear a lot of people just, they either downplay comic books, or they want to, just refer to comics as, they're just funny books, and they are funny books. So don't get me wrong, but they're more than that. If this book can spark these real questions, these real issues by real religions that people follow, this is, if this can tie in with this, that means comics have weight, and comics matter, and real issues that you think about and you struggle with, you see played out in creative storytelling. This is why I love comics. King Spawn #1 is why I love comics. So I really wanted to say that, because I think a lot of people kind of just like to bounce back because there's a lot of controversy in comics right now. It's like, look, guys, we're just making funny books, and we're doing more than that. This is more than just making funny books. It's more than just a pastime, fun thing to do to get people to escape. It's much more than that. And so I say that to say King Spawn does that very, very well. I will say the only negative thing that I found with this is there were a couple times where I wish there would have been at least something at the beginning, or maybe some reference, some references throughout to just sum up where we've been, where we are now in a short paragraph. There we go. But it didn't do that. And even though it didn't do that, I wasn't lost. I thought that it was very well told. Like I said, it only made me want to go back and read the rest of it leading up to this point, which I'm going to do. And it took all the magic from, the fun of the 90s comic, the movie, the amazing HBO show, and it brought all that magic back and rekindled my love for Spawn in this issue. So I give King Spawn #1 a 9.5 out of 10. It's a solid book. Go pick it up. Oh, and if you get it, you've got 3 additional stories in the back about other characters in the Spawnverse. So this is awesome. Go pick it up.
Is Al Simmons still Spawn?
Al Simmons is still Spawn.
But he wasn't there. Somewhere in the middle, he wasn't. Then
so
he's come back.
What I think is happening, and again, I got out and I came back.
I got a long time.
From what I can see is it's kind of what happened with like the symbiotes in the Marvel universe. There's a lot of Hellspawn. There are many different Hellspawns. So kind of like The Crow as well by James O'Barr. There's a lot of different crows. But Al Simmons is still Spawn, but there are other, like there's a gunslinger Spawn.
The design of that looks awesome.
So cool.
Yeah.
And there's another Hellspawn. Let's see, hold on really quick. I'll get to him.
I was always a fan of medieval Spawn back in the day.
Yeah, medieval Spawn was cool. Here's another Hellspawn named Nightmare. And that is not Al Simmons. So it's kind of playing to, which makes sense because Todd McFarlane created Venom. So that's cool that he's doing something similar with this character.
Very interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, very good, Brian. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And we've also got some other comments. Brian Hawkins tearfully announces that he actually bought a DC book this week. Well, we might be reviewing one or more this week. And from that's a small press publisher, Joe D. McPhee says The Unknown Tales of BKM. Tonight's episode to keep his cookie from crumbling. I've been doing that for about 4 weeks now. And Cindy Captain says Eeny, Meeny, Miny, and Mo. Oh, nice guy. And Grant Lankard almost bought King Spawn today, but the electricity went out in the comic book shop and the register didn't work. That was God giving you a message.
That's a sign.
Yes. Boy, somebody didn't want you buying that book. That's right. Brian Hawkins says, I've always liked Spawn, been in and out of reading it for over the years. And Carl Wisman says, Joe McKeown, you see why this show makes me late for stupid o'clock. Just to see how far off the rails we can go. Grant Lankard says, I haven't read Spawn in so long, I didn't even know Al Simmons isn't even Spawn anymore. And Brian Hawkins and I, 2 Brians here, don't have anything signed by Todd. I don't think I have anything in my collection from him.
But I do have like 12 copies of Spawn #1.
Yeah. In the hopes that it's worth something again.
I just went through a box the other day and it was 5 copies of Spider-Man #1.
Oh, man.
It'll be worth something after the apocalypse. And Grant Lankard, he wasn't, but I think he is again. Cindy Cap says, when kids were taking the state test, after the state decided to be very multicultural, there were names that kids, some of whom couldn't read beyond 2nd grade level, couldn't pronounce. So I told them to reduce the names to initials or call them Bob, Fred, or Sue. So when you're reading the credits and can't pronounce the name, it's Bubba, Bob, Bo, Bob.
I read that. I thought that's a good thing to do. Then I started realizing she just said we can't read past the 2nd grade level.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said. And you know what? She might be right. I don't know.
That's why we read comics.
Yeah, I like the pictures.
You notice the weakness of our protests here. So Brian Hawkins says, Brian R., the shop I went to had the Capullo cover, but I opted for the Finch cover instead. But Brian Hawkins 75, who we like, is trapped on the grid, bouncing around to the different streaming services. Jake Twister, good to see you, my man. Hope you're having a great night. And Jake has sent the Desk of a Small Press Publisher a DM. Everybody waiting around, see what it is. Anyway, and the hate machine. We've been called worse. Cindy Cap says not to get too far into the religion, but a couple explanations for the excessive violence portrayed in the Old Testament had to do with a different focus. Law cannot save you. And depending on your interpretation of Genesis 6, a need to deal with genetic pollution.
Yeah, and and those are addressed in these and the smaller version as well. It also goes a lot into the importance of context and understanding what ancient genre of literature you're reading. Because there are certain phrases, certain things that are said that to us are taken as literal, but to them, it didn't actually mean it. So, when they say, yes, smash the babies' heads against the rocks, they may not actually have smashed the babies' heads against the rocks. It may have actually meant something else to them. So It goes into a lot of those.
Well, they said dasheth their heads against the rocks.
Well, if you're King James, yeah.
So I don't know what that meant. Run past them real quick and throw them at the rocks.
It's like a game they had. It's
Yes,
this is a milk crate challenge. If you hit the baby's head on the rock,
smash the baby.
You won.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We've reached a dark place. Let's go somewhere else.
All my life choices have led to this minute. And for this Paul Press Publisher dislikes the ever-going hate machine. Let me check it. I want to know what this is. Come back and tell me. And Ava begs to differ. Only one.
Oh, sorry, Cindy.
Sorry, Cindy. And Sarah, I might have, crow is something we might have to eat later. You never know. Not Ava, though. I might have to start reading comics I've read again, depending on how the restrictions Illinois is going through again. Well, hopefully real soon you'll have plenty of them. I think Simmons died around issue 200, but came back somewhere else since as Brian Hawkins. And don't forget, folks, when you go back, I believe some of the old spawns are in like compendiums.
Yeah.
The
entire I checked today that Brian, the entire series, spin-offs, everything, it's all on Comixology as well.
Oh, excellent.
Well,
Does that include issue 8?
Comic shop and get all the back issues really cheap.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I have volume 1 in trade paperback, so I have issue 8 or volume 2 rather.
Yeah, because that was the Dave Sim written issue, and if I remember correctly, at one point he said he did not want it reprinted.
So, I don't know. It might not be on Comixology.
Yeah. So, but this is with Todd McFarlane, the same guy that told Neil Gaiman, I'm not going to do much with what's her name?
Dave Sim has other issues to worry about nowadays.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. And Spawn Rodman, you stretch me, says
yes, go buy it. Be poor like me, Ted.
And Sarah says, I've never read The Crow. Oh, my goodness. Knowing me, do you think I would like a DKM? Guys, do you think Sarah, who is very goth in nature, do you think she would like it?
Yes. Read the graphic novel, then watch the movie. Yeah. You'll appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, and it's I think it's one of the more faithful adaptations.
Absolutely,
yeah, it's great.
Well, it's one of the few films that actually had the creator on the set every day. James O'Barr was there the whole time it was being filmed,
and he's a nice guy too.
Super nice guy.
From that Small Press Publisher, 90s Image comics are like Lay's potato chips. You just can't buy one copy.
Yep. They wouldn't let you buy just one.
No, yeah.
That's right. And Carl Witzman has a command for you. Rub Luna's sternum.
No, she'll hurt me. I don't want to do that. I would if she was passed out from alcohol. But if we got to that point, then I don't deserve to have a cat. So
that's and context is everything. We pray for context on this show. And infinite craniums on the what? Over there, way over there are the rails. Anyway, so we've caught up with the comments. Thank you. Keep them coming, he said reluctantly. With trepidation. So, Eric, would you like to review your comic next?
I could do that. Yes.
I think you should.
I could do that. But first, before I show the comics I got this week, Brian loves to, review all the DC books. I don't know if you've heard the news of all the DC delays over the next 2 months. Over 30 books are being delayed.
Is it Batman 89 or Superman 78?
I don't think it's either the Super 78
That's all I care about.
Super 78 number 3 is delayed till November.
Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah. All the Wonder Girls, they're delayed till October. Then they run through December. They're going to release them every 2 weeks, but there's like 30 titles delayed, except for like the regular Batman titles and Superman titles.
That's fine with me.
So Just thought I'd let you know I heard that today, and I was thinking, oh, Brian's not gonna have anything to review. So
no, actually, I have something to talk. I do have something I could review, but it won't be out till May. We'll talk about that later. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, May.
So
trust me.
This is the first week since we've started this show. I don't have a number 1 to review. Moon Knight number 2, which came out last week, but I picked it up this week. Vinyl number 3, which I just love this series. It's great. And Amazing Fantasy number 2 came out and looks just as good as the first one, and I love it. But I did pick up, and I think this came out actually last week, Beyond the Breach number 2 by Aftershock.
Nice.
Which I really enjoyed the first issue quite a bit. So I definitely went back for number 2. So it's Beyond the Breach number 2 by Aftershock, $3.99, written by Ed Brisson, or Brisson. Art by Damian Cuchiro, and everything else is by Billy Bob Thornton. Billy Bob
Thornton. Oh, boo, baby, boo.
So this was the book that I reviewed a few weeks back, which it only seemed like a couple weeks ago, but it had to be at least a month, I think. Where the girl at the beginning, I believe, was Vanessa. Started out that her husband, boyfriend cheated on her with her sister. And then she ran into she had an accident. There's all these cars wrecked everywhere, and there are all these weird, strange creatures. And she runs into a kid named Dougie, whose parents are obviously killed by all these creatures who I'm guessing came from the breach. And at the end, Dougie gets eaten by one of the creatures. You don't know if he's alive or not. Well, Dougie's okay. Dougie is okay. Right at the beginning, it picks up with the creature.
Nice.
Where's it at? I can't get. Oh crap! There we go. So right away, we got some sound effects, some curse words, and Vanessa starts off fighting with the creatures again, especially the one just ate Dougie. Then you still got the little cat dog-like creature he's worried about her. But then all of a sudden, another thing shows up, and you think it's some kind of creature. But this page, right there, the big purple looks like a mountain there. But he saves them and Dougie. But it's actually Carl.
Good old Carl. That actually kind of looks like Carl. Look at it.
So Carl shows up. He's confused. He don't know where he is. He's not from the world that these creatures are from, and he's not from our world. But he rides a giant tortoise named Turtle.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in the book.
As one does.
She goes, well, you're riding a turtle. No, it's a tortoise. It's named Turtle. So
this is like the never-ending story, isn't it?
It is so good. So they come across some some more devastation from whatever has caused this breach, and then they decide that if they go to the next town, they might be able to find some help, and they run to some other people, and one of them gets hurt, but the stranger is able to heal him. He gets his hand bitten off, and he's able to heal him with this leech thing that wraps around it, and the leech dies, but his hand's all grown back together. So you don't get a lot of answers of where the breach is from, where the new guy, Samuel, his name's actually Samuel, where Samuel's come from, but he showed up with his tortoise named Turtle. Dougie's okay. You find out that the creatures that were saying, calling Dougie's name in the first issue, it made it sound like his parents, and were calling Vanessa's name and sounded like her sister. They weren't actually saying anything. They were releasing pheromones into the air, which made them think they heard these things from the noises they were making, which I thought was pretty clever. But I won't go into everything about it. But the story is progressing very nicely. I enjoy it. The art is just wonderful, I think. It kind of reminds me of Adam Kubert's art a little bit. A younger Adam Kubert's art, which I always liked Adam better than Andy. But the book is good. It paces very nically. It hasn't been going between a lot of different characters because it was basically just Vanessa the entire first issue, and then she runs into Dougie. But now you got Vanessa and Samuel, and they run into a group of people with the tortoise named Turtle. And you got the little cat-like creature. And nobody knows what's going on yet. Nobody has a clue. But at the end, you're going to get some kind of idea that what might be going on. But that's all I can really say about that. If you like mystery, horror, and monsters, and tortoises named Turtle, pick up Beyond the Breach #2. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, and that's probably one of the highest ones I've given in a long time. But I really like it. But before I go, I will also recommend Vinyl if you're not picking this up by Image. One of the main characters in here, he's always listening to music, and it's about a serial killer and stuff. But you find out in this issue why he listens to music all the time, and it's pretty clever, I thought.
Very good.
I would give that a 9 out of 10 too.
Excellent.
Oh, he snuck
All right.
two.
I don't know
Two
why I
scores.
did. I was looking thoughtful, yeah. But now, anyway, hitting the wrong buttons. But no, that sounds good. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. And we've got comments. Let's see here. Oh, Ace Bonnie wants to know if Sarah likes Lady Death, and I think that would appeal to her too. By Brian Pulido. That's a very dark title, but a lot of good art, and it's got some pretty engaging storylines. From this, a small press publisher, time to play. Can Eric convince me on an independent comics that made me say, meh? What is this week's contender? What is his answer? We'll find out soon. Sarah Abar is awesome, and DC Comics equals delayed comics. Just kidding, BKM. Thank you. It stands for Detective Comics. Duh. And or did, yeah, until 77. Ted Davies Artistry says, I love DC Batman stuff. The other IP level, my dining room table. And see, you think that DC Comics have no value, see? And Brian Hawkins said met O'Barr a few years ago at Wizard World. He was really quiet, but had an assistant doing the talking. Bought a print and had him bloody it up. And Carl Witzman is going to sue Billy Bob Thornton for the illegal use of his image. Start lawyering up, buddy. I'm telling you, they're on the. And Ted Davis also DC Comics are good fire starters as well.
Oh,
why you little. But anyway, Ted Davis Artistry says, Carl, Angelina Jolie is looking for you. And Donna says, Angelina Jolie is looking for Carl. Good thing he's not a boob, man. And, and Carl says, still, Ted, I'm avoiding her. And Brad Pitt has nothing on you, Carl. And if he does, he wants it back. Anyway, dang, Eric gave it a 9.2. Why do I still say meh to it?
Maybe it's not the comic. Maybe it's you.
Ooh.
Maybe it's Maybelline. We don't know.
I will say,
still pass for the title again.
I give
Story
both
doesn't
of those a higher grade than I would have gave Moon Knight this week. And it's only because Moon Knight 2 left off the same way Moon Knight 1 left off. I was like, no, I want to see this new character.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to read number 3 to see if. Here's the test. This is what got me off of Iron Man a number of years ago when Warren Ellis was writing it. And he's one of my favorite writers currently in comics. I think he constructs a really good story. But it was when they first introduced the Extremis armor. And there was one issue. I remember I read the first 4 issues. And after I finished 4, I realized that I could have gone from 2 to 4. And not read number 3, and the story still made sense.
Yeah, that's troubling.
That is disturbing.
But they are teasing me with issue 3 with this character again, but they're also teasing me with a Jay Lee cover.
Ooh, that should do it.
Talk about nice guys. Jay Lee is a super dude. He really is. He's been to like the bigger shows that I've been to. He's a really nice guy.
Very cool. And Ted Davies is stirring up the fights tonight. He's going, Eric getting soft. Hell no. And Sarah says, OMG, I just found out a cousin of mine has COVID. Gotta go for now. Sarah, good luck to you, hun.
Yeah.
Keep me posted, all right? I want to know. And Cindy Cap goes, Ted, comics burn too fast to start a fire.
Not if you roll them real tight. I mean, that's what I've heard.
And that's not the proper use. You should take your copies of Checkmate, and if you have one of those little chimney stacks for lighting charcoal briquettes, you can wad them up, coat them with a little vegetable oil, and they'll burn just fine. Except for Checkmate, you have to file an environmental impact statement. So,
do you like Checkmate, Brian?
You'll find out in about 2 minutes.
Oh, no.
I'm warming up the arm, let me tell you. And enjoying the groans, says Donna. And there is a Lady Death Kickstarter live right now for another 2 weeks, I think. Oh, cool. Very cool. Brian Polito always has some good Checkmate. Or rather, some good. I wish he was writing Checkmate. It'd be readable. But always some good Kickstarters. He's got a really great set of IPs there, and that's not code. Okay? I just realized what I was saying is like, and then I flashed on the image of Lady Death, and I'm like, no. Too late to mid-course correct. Gotta see it through and then make the correction.
That was perfect.
I know. This whole show has been perfect. Anyway, how about I review some books?
Let's do it.
Do the DC thing that you do so well. Go ahead.
Oh, not as good as you, Brian. Thank you for the compliment. As left-handed as it might have been. So, I bought comic books. Back to you, Clyde. No, anyway, I'm going to go for, as I've been doing lately, from, let's just see what I bought this week. And I'm going from the bottom, the one I like the least, to the one I like the best. And of course, the one I like the least was not this one. It was this piece of crap. Anyway, I'm not going to throw it across the room because Green Arrow makes a joke, which when you think about it, it's like, bull. He knows how to do that sort of thing. I'll ruin it for everyone because that's how much I think of this comic.
Wait, did you buy number 2 too?
No, I have all 3 issues.
But you haven't liked any of them.
Say what? You
haven't liked any of them?
No.
Why do you keep buying it?
I'm an idiot. No, actually, this issue, in issue 2, the question, Vic Sage got shot in the shoulder with an arrow. He still got it in this issue while Green Arrow was reporting in, and the question goes to Green Arrow, how do you not know the proper way to take out this arrow? And Green Arrow yells, that's because it's not what I do. I put them in. So, but the only thing that's keeping me from hurling this across the room is the fact that it says at the end, Mark Shaw may not be who we think he is. So I'm saving it up. Okay. Then next is this one, and I'm not saying that this is bad. This is really, really good, but I'm not going to talk about it. We're going to just be patient. Actually, I should have put this ahead of that. The Superman story in here is really, really good. By the usual writer, Phil Candy Johnson, and Christian Deuce is the guest artist. There's a little bit of ickiness in it. It revolves around a standoff between Atlantis and the surface world over an item that may have come from War World. And Superman violates his, basically first, the thing that says I don't interfere with like cultural things on Earth.
The Prime Directive?
Yeah, that too. Anyway, he does it in style. Check this out.
Ooh, that's cool.
2-page spread. Look at those letters, Eric. Look at the sound effects. And before the astonished eyes of John Kent and Supergirl, he creates with his super breath a barrier of ice in the middle of the Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
That 2-page spread is worth the whole price of this book. It is
sounds like some
awesome.
flat Earth stuff.
Yeah, no, you want flat Earth stuff. Read the Midnighter in back. I would rather DC take $1 less of my money and pull the Midnighter. I am not enjoying it at all. And this week I was kind of torn because I've been waiting for this book for so long.
Yeah.
Superman 78. There's a beautiful Doc Shaner variant cover I almost picked up. And one thing that they do in here, and I think it's very, very cool of them, The artist is Wilfredo Torres, who always and it's one of those where the likenesses look just enough like the actors so you know who they are, but they don't exactly look like the artists or like the actors rather. So that's probably how they can do this book and not have to pay anybody any money for their likenesses. But Robert Venditti, who has written some really good Superman for the Walmart books a couple of years ago, constructs a really nice story here that, spoiler, it involves another one of Superman's villains. Starts out on Krypton, quotes some of the movie. The art is absolutely wonderful. And there's a fight, of course, at Schuster Station with, of course, you know who. And then who should appear? Yeah. Isn't that sweet? And big time fight. Nice. And then I'm not going to spoil it, but it is really sweet. Well, actually, the cover spoils it. It's a shot of Brainiac at the end. But the book here really captures the spirit of the Christopher Reeve movies, particularly one and two. All right. Number 3 was a great Richard Pryor movie. And 4,
yeah,
it's tough to be a super fan someday. But anyway, no, this is definitely a really, really good book. One barely edged it out as my favorite, and it was this one, Superman, Son of Kal-El. Now, Tom Taylor, one of my favorite writers right now. The artist is, let me make sure I get this right.
Billy Bob Bobop?
Yeah, somewhere around here. Credits are getting really subtle for Brian, and Brian has trouble finding them some days. But anyway, while we're... it's at the end. That's right. I want to give credit where credit is due. Yes, Tom Taylor is the writer. He also did Injustice, is currently doing Nightwing. And John Timms is the artist. Really great artist. And it's and also it ties into some stuff that was mentioned last week in the comic Superman and the Authority. Ties into that a little bit. But in this one, John Kent tries to establish a secret identity and blows it within the first hour for a good reason. And then he's talking to his dad on the moon. There's a beautiful... I'm not big on talking head type comics, but there's a nice exchange between the two where... Superman tells John, they've been saying for a couple months that John has the potential to be a greater hero than Kal-El. And Kal-El tells him, I think part of me holds back because I wasn't born here. I can help, but I can't lead except by example. Part of me feels it's not my place. And John asks him, well, there's so much injustice on a microscopic level. How can you not step up? And who will if you don't? And Superman tells him, I was thinking you. This is your planet, John. This is your place. Just summed up himself and his son in one step. And so, of course, the first thing, there is a boat full of refugees from Gomorrah, if you remember that. I believe it's Gomorrah. Not to be confused with La Gomorrah from the musical. But anyway, Gomorrah, who has a new leader, but that's part of the twist ending. But definitely these two books, if you pick up any books this week, I recommend both of these. If you are a Superman fan, you will love it. And this book is slowly turning me into a adult John Kent fan. I give both of these for their intentions and their execution. Let's give them a 9.5 each. Really worth the money, really worth your time to read. Really enjoyed them. Read them several times since I picked them up yesterday. They are the gift that keep on giving. So that is my review of those books.
The Son of Kal-El books, it could have gone off the rails so easily. It could have been very mishandled. And so far, they have been pitch perfect for me.
Yes.
And that's saying something. To take the son of an established hero like that and turn him into a very interesting character and a hero in the making. that you can see the potential that the track that they're putting him on. And this issue, I liked it. Actually, I liked it better than Superman 78. Now, taking nothing away from, but that talk on the moon, and the ending, the nice tie at the end there to get you interested in the next issue and to continue on. Just like the Damien conversation in the first one with him, with John, worked very well. Good dialogue. It clears a lot of hurdles, and so far and we're not surprised. This writer, we've talked about it before. I really like his style for this sort of a character right now. So
I do too. Yeah, really terrific stuff. I mean, I didn't think I would enjoy the Injustice books as much as I do the ones based on the video games, but I find them fascinating. He is great, and I liked his Deceased event far more than I like the Marvel Zombies, because I'm kind of zombied out already. But not Eric. No, sir, except for one title. One book. One awesome book. My favorite comic
But if
book.
you hate zombies, read the Zombie World.
That book brought me back around.
I will actually say that I'm not a huge zombie fan. And that book is a lot more. It's much more than just a zombie book. There's zombies. There's zombies.
A zombie in issue 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but no, it's
yeah. It's actually it may have that as its fulcrum, but it's got a lot of. It's expanded a lot since then. But the last issue is much more character centric than just zombies. And
thank you. That's the point. Yeah. The zombies is to get people to come and buy it.
Yeah,
and maybe they will like it.
Hashtag pandering. Anyway, hashtag Brian would do it in a heartbeat.
Luna likes the zombies. She's all up for zombies.
You love zombies, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, she winked at me. She says, "Absolutely, I do."
Yeah. I love the zombies. I love the zombies. She's Not There is one of my favorite songs. Anyway, let's see. Really, BR, I am perfectly fine. I just don't care for the oversaturated genre of horror.
All right, man. Will you stay with your completely not oversaturated genre of superheroes?
Ouch! Ouch!
I love you too.
Oh my God, the gauntlet has been hurled. I can't wait for episode 30 with the flaming barbed wire cage match between Brian.
I
and
love
Eric
going back and forth with Joe, but I respect the crap out of him. He does a great job with his show, and
he does.
It's I can't wait for issue 30. It's gonna be great. He
kids because he loves Joe.
Yes, I wouldn't say that to you if I didn't like you. So there you go.
That is here how he treats me. Anyway, but no. Would you do the voodoo that you do so well? Oh, thank you, darling. I'm trying. And the last few Lady Death campaigns have had a cosplay cover as an option. Speaking of nice IPs. Oh, Brian, you're on the warning list now. Anyway, from the Small Press Publisher, BKM, I gave up on issue 2. It's not worth it. Poor writing took me completely out of it. That's because you're brighter than I am. No, there is something that is just so horrible about it. It's almost like it's so bad it's good. It is so bad I am waiting for redemption before issue 6. If it does not arrive with issue 6, you will not be hearing about Checkmate Volume 2. I promise you, because I won't know what's in it.
Yeah, I gave up on that Midnight Western whatever crap. Issue 2.
The skeleton horses.
I did get 3 and 4's out now. All of a sudden, 3 and 4 came out like back to back when it was like 3 months in between issue 1 and 2.
Yeah, can't you see the publishers going? Is Eric still reading?
Let's go.
No, okay. Here's your.
I will give a book a second chance. But rarely a third. You can't catch me with 1 and 2. I mean,
It's good though to because sometimes things just get off to a slow start, and then I've had to go scramble trying to get the issues back. Like issue 7 comes out, and people go, "This has really started off kind of lukewarm." So I try to stick, like Brian. I respect that you keep giving it a try, and you also if nothing else, you've got ballista ammunition, so it's okay. You can load it up, but
you got Tinder.
yeah,
start a fire.
What's this about
Kind
Tinder?
of.
I was like, wait, how'd we get there?
And with this crowd,
Keeping in with the theme tonight.
people kept telling me that about Game of Thrones.
Hmm.
You kind of got to get through the first season, then it gets good. I'm like, man, I gave it a few episodes. It was just too slow for me. So I don't know if I want to waste all those hours to get to the second season.
Honestly, Eric, the books are really good.
I've tried the book. Yeah.
I read the first book. I watched the first 2 seasons. I stopped watching it because it got a little rapey for me. But not a little
Rapey for his
rapey.
taste.
Very,
Well,
very rapey.
that's better than bashing baby heads on the rocks.
That's true. No, but
Is it?
honestly, I'm
No.
not necessarily. I don't know. I'm not necessarily sad that I stopped watching it because I heard the last season was awful.
Oh, yeah, I heard it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But everybody told me you kind of just got to stick with it. And I'm like,
I love the story. The story is fantastic.
Now,
It's
I've
a
done that with
great-
some TV shows that I've liked
Yeah.
them. But Game of Thrones is just, you got to get through a whole season. I'm like, whole season?
Mm,
It's
yeah.
like hour-long
Yeah.
episodes. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, I was the same way with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I love the movie.
Mm.
And I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes, and Cookie and I were both like, this is pretty
With-
slow.
with Buffy. It again that it got better in the second season, and then
Oh,
beyond.
yeah, it did.
Yeah,
Even the
it-
first season,
absolutely. Yeah, like
not even
12
about a third of the way
episodes
in, was
Yeah.
really, really good.
Yeah.
And same with Firefly. The first episode was 90 minutes. I turned it off after an hour. I was bored to tears.
Oh wow. Well,
But then if-
sadly, there was other people felt the same way.
Was
The
this the
broadcast-
first episode, though? Because wasn't one of the
Yeah,
reasons
there was
I
a-
didn't watch it because they ran them all out of
yeah.
order on
order.
Fox?
Yeah.
They messed with it. Fox messed with that
Oh, yeah.
something
Fox
badly.
took them and just rode them hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much without
Pretty
any
much.
mercy. But yeah, we're going to be keeping an eye on this one. I'm already on good terms with the FAA, so it better watch it. That thing could
Well,
take flight.
hopefully issue 4 will be better. Oh wait, is issue 4 on the?
Is it on the delayed?
No, I'm sure Checkmate will be right on time because
I think it is.
clamoring for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll delay Superman, Son of Kal-El, but probably. But
Oh,
Well, they don't do much better with TV shows either. They canceled the amazing show that was Swamp Thing, yet we're getting season 3 of Batwoman. How?
that nobody watched.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're still putting out the Flash, and that sucked for like 3 seasons. So
yeah.
Yeah.
it was
And
so
wow,
good. in the
BR
beginning.
dropping the pipe.
I just haven't
bomb.
liked it lately. It was my favorite show.
Yes, Carl is plotting to do a parody of this show.
Yeah,
so-
he's
I
going to
think-
do the Bizarro.
I
comic book
honestly think
spectrum.
Comic Book Rainbow is one of the funniest titles ever. I'm kind of mad we didn't think of that, guys. That's
yeah,
hilarious.
if only.
we could change it.
We got nothing.
It's not too late. That's true.
Steal it from Carl.
But my
Oh,
shirt's
like
not
volume
over.
2 now. We'll start the numbering all over again. It'll be just like that company Brian's puking about. So.
Yeah, Scout Comics.
Yeah,
We'll
Scout
just
Comics. We'll just do number 1s from now on. Unlike Lost, says Cindy kept started great, kept going, ending. Oh, they should have ended 2 seasons earlier. Yeah, boy, that's a
yeah.
good
Or
example.
sooner.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I feel the same way about Alias. That the first season was confusing in that kind of checkmate sort of way, but and then the second is like, by then, okay, I'm out of here. I'm done with it. So
I will
like-
say a show that started to teeter off
Yeah.
and kind of fizzle out and then finished really strong with Smallville.
yeah,
Yeah.
it did.
Yeah.
I agree.
Not season 6, season 7. I'm going, what's happening, guys? What are you doing? This is
Yeah.
going
When
to
was
get
that?
canceled. That was the last season 6 was when Supergirl. No, season 7 was when Supergirl showed up, and she was good. But the storyline got really weird in that
Yeah.
season, and Lex Luthor was pitted against Superman in the weird Native American story, and I was like, "What is happening?" And then they fixed it. 8 to 10 was the journey to Superman, and I loved it.
Along with the Legion of Superheroes and
Oh,
Mr.
so
Gold
cool.
and
yeah.
Blue Beetle and the Justice Society of America.
Yep, it was great. I
That
loved it.
That was about as good as TV gets for superhero fans. So
It was, and it kicked off the Arrowverse.
Yeah, it did. It did.
So yeah.
Which has proceeded to
Yeah.
Up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
But anyway, something that doesn't go up and down is very consistent in its quality is the reviews from Clyde Hall.
Indeed.
Oh, cool.
Am I the master of the Segway or what? And other vehicles. Yeah, so here he is, Mr. Clyde Hall. Please grace us with your brilliance.
Hey, Segway on a milk crate challenge. That'd be interesting to. No, maybe not.
If I get 15,000 followers on YouTube by Halloween night,
Yeah.
I will do a Segway on it.
To Fiverr I go.
Well,
To the emergency room I go.
Last week I talked about a book that I enjoyed the first issue, and I got some resonance in the watchers about it sounded interesting to them. So I decided to review Second Chances #1 from Image. Give you a quick look at the run down the particulars here. It is Image Comics, $3.99. It's written by Ricky Momone and illustrated by Max Bertolini. Letters by DC Hopkins, and it is rated M for mature. I'll show you some of the artwork. It has some great sound effects, and it has a styling. It is a black and white comic, and that's the first thing that when I opened it up, I'm like, really, that's an interesting choice, but I think it's a good one. And to give you an idea of the layouts here, this is a non-action, but I think a very, very interesting way to do. You get a little bit of action, but not too much. But this is very consistent for the way it's set up with some creative paneling, and we're not looking at a 9-panel page or anything like that repeats.
Nice.
It's very unique. I love some of the expressions. The action sequences are good, but the expressions on people's faces, and here's a good example. This gentleman there at the bottom, just that kind of profile.
Oh man, that even looks like it looks like one of the main actor from Halloween 3.
Yeah.
It looks just like him.
Yeah. So it has that feel. Now, it also has aesthetically, sometimes it's hard to tell if it's a modern book, but because it is a neo-noir, that works for it. And that's one of the reasons. He looks like he could have stepped out of an 80s movie, maybe even a 70s movie. And because of the kind of story that they're telling, that works fine, I think. Now we get into we have a character that really makes a powerful entrance called Miss Nobody. You see her down here. And when she shows up, business picks up quickly as far as action.
Yeah.
And then, now, here's where the action really, really takes off. And look at, just notice the sound effects here, Eric. We got the big sounds, and we got gunplay, and we have Oni masked assassins, and we have guns running out of ammunition. Click, 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 click. None of the sound effects, for as subtle as some of this is, none of the sound effects are subtle, and that also gives it kind of a noir feeling, I think. Let's see some action.
Great expression on that kid in that corner panel.
Yeah. It's masterfully illustrated, I think. So, and the story, it's one of those times when the creative team, they're all on the same page and they're working, I think, at the best of their ability, and it shows. They just like a good film, it's usually not one thing that makes it excel. It's the way many things are done well and they gel together. And that's the way I kind of feel about this book. Moral grayscale. Writer Mickey Momani says that concept was part of his decision in making this new Image comic offering monochromatic. It fits the neo-noir story he's telling, one of a hotline you can call when you're ready to end your life. Because if you have enough money, and if you have a referral, and if you're deserving, you can shed your old life, and with work, you can earn a shiny new one. Second Chances makes second chances possible. The hotline operator, who is named LeBlanc, tells his clients, but he adds, there's no such thing as a third. In issue number 1, we learn about LeBlanc's business by examining his work on behalf of one client. LeBlanc's backstory and his reasons for starting Second Chances are merely hinted at, with further explanation, I'm sure, forthcoming in subsequent issues. The client in question is Paul Ramos. And he may not be the standard sort of client because LeBlanc owes him a debt. And in repaying it, our protagonist may have extended the services that he provides to someone that he might otherwise consider unworthy. In fact, one wonders if Ramos has used his second chance wisely after seeing the situation which draws LeBlanc back into his life. The cost to Ramos's family because of his decisions, including an adult daughter named Emma. These costs include encounters with Oni masked assassins and an operative as intriguing as she is mysterious, and that would be the lady codenamed Miss Nobody. On first read, LeBlanc reminded me a bit of the Disappearer character, played by the late Robert Forster on Breaking Bad. If you saw him as Ed, the vacuum repair and retail merchant, doing a secret business in false new identities and relocations, you'll understand. In that show, Ed's a pro, and he doesn't alter his proven formula for setting up new identities at a set price. He's also very reliable, and he has a code of honor. Once you qualify as a client, and so long as you meet his price, he will go above and beyond servicing your needs as he promised. You got a price on your head, and it outmatches Ed's fee enough to tempt lesser men? No worries. Ed's not going to turn you in because you're his client. It's the same impression you get about LeBlanc. Also, just like Ed, LeBlanc is a character that you quickly want to know more about. Vince Gilligan and Forrester did this so well with Ed's one-episode appearance that the character was brought back in the follow-up film El Camino and in Better Call Saul. And in issue number 1, Lamone stokes that same level of interest in LeBlanc. We want to know who he is and how he settled into providing this really shady and subversive service. Bertolini, we've seen his work on the Witcher comic and Hangar 66, and you definitely get a feeling that he is working the shadow and the light beautifully. He is making that into a very 3D representation. He is Italian, and there's an Italian form of graphic art that he does with this. And as you saw from the illustrations, it works. Besides the profiles and everything, you just get that feeling of depth from his work. I really appreciate it. And on the Down and Nerdy podcast, they talked about in some of the interviews with the creative team, they talked about why they had gone with monochromatic. And I think this is true for Bertolini. They said that they could not find a colorist that they thought would enhance his work. And looking at the black and white result, I can't argue with their reasoning. I don't know. I can see where color could actually hurt it. But since it is a neo-noir anyway, I think the black and white is a very strong point in the book's favor. On the topic of impact and the impact that the art has, there's lettering by D.C. Hopkins. And, yes, we got enough dialogue, and the flow of the regular lines is good. It's kept attractive and functional. But then you've got those sound effects. Those ring. There's a couple of times there's a phone ringing, and again, oh look, it's a rotary phone. You have that again, that timeless kind of, later on you see people on cell phones and stuff. So it's a real world where old tech and new tech sometimes exist side by side. Excuse me. And so that works, but the phone's ringing. And I thought of a movie, it's not the best example of a neo-noir, but Payback, Mel Gibson film. And in that, there are some really loud sound effects. You know, when the phone rings, it doesn't just ring; it rings. And I thought of that immediately when I saw the ringing of the phone, the way he special effects it, and so for as nuanced as the rest of the book is, I think that really those impactful sound effects work quite well. So, with this kind of a series set up, the reader is left pondering which elements will be the center of number 2, and with equal hopes that somehow all of them will, from the background of the main character to what has happened with the Ramos family and how invested LeBlanc is in helping them. Apparently it's not just he sets you up with a new identity and then washes his hands of you. He's invested in helping it work, including trying to take part and prevent assassins from taking you out if they discover who you are. Now, if you don't care for black and white comics, or if neo-noir leaves you unimpressed, it might not be a great read for you. It might be disappointing. But for everybody else, especially those who enjoy a modern crime mystery done with stylish verve, Second Chances #1 deserves your consideration. So my score for Second Chances #1 is a strong 7.5 out of 10.
Excellent. Sounds
Cool.
great.
Art looked great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Love the lighting on those panels you showed. It looked very noir from that.
I tried to imagine it being colored, being inked with colors. And I think it's, because at first I kind of went, really? You're going to do it this way? Are you saving money? And not that it's a stylistic choice, but I think it's right. It's beautiful.
Well, I draw my art to be colored, so I do leave out some shading details.
Right.
Normally, if I wasn't going to color, I would put in. But since most of my stuff, especially for the comic book, I know I'm going to be coloring it. I take shortcuts because I'm going to color it. So that makes sense.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I've read fairly recently, like the late Steve Ditko used to almost draw stick figures. And Stan Lee, sometimes when he was writing Spider-Man, doing the scripting on it, after Ditko had drawn all the pictures and written in the gutters what was going on, Stan still had trouble deciding who was what. So made it kind of a challenge for the man. So, but nothing wrong with the shortcut, if you know you're going to be inking and coloring it,
Besides, not being able to figure out who's who in a Ditko panel, that kind of fits as far as Spider-Man, especially with that weird. I mean, have you ever tried when you were a kid to get in some of those Ditko Spider-Man poses?
Oh yeah, I felt so good about myself when it took me a long time to learn and get my hands like.
I was always too fat to be Spider-Man, so I just associated with Kingpin.
Yeah, there we go.
That was my go-to villain.
Yeah.
Oh, what's happening?
Wow.
Well, when I was a little kid and I wanted to emulate somebody from Marvel, I was also quite heavy set, and the Beast.
Yeah.
Hank Pym or Hank McCoy is the Beast. Was somebody that I would pretend that I was that guy. I could shoot a gun with my toes. That was
that's awesome. Yeah,
that
especially the '90s animation. The '90s animated show. He was buff, but he was a short, stocky guy.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, we've got a few more comments here. Going back to our talk about TV shows, I've got to agree with her. I'm a huge fan of the original Mission Impossible. It started out as like the IMF was like basically running a sting every week on deposing some South American dictator or something, and then it kind of morphed into fighting the mob, except they were called the Network, like that or something like that. But the quality of it was pretty consistent throughout. So even when you could tell they were cutting the budget,
that's one of the ones that I think is even before my time, because I don't know if it was even on reruns when I was growing up. I knew of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me.
Well, you guys, I don't know, Eric.
First run, watched him first run.
Yeah,
because we're old.
I know. Yeah, it was I think of Martin Landau and Barbara Bain as my bones are creaking. But no, there was also a revival in the '80s with Peter Graves and Phil Morris, who was the son of Greg Morris, who was on the original. In fact, Phil Morris, who was in Smallville as John Jones, played the son of
Oh,
his dad's character.
very cool.
It was.
I got confused there. Was
Well,
that
if you
Billy
were older,
Bob
Eric.
again?
Say what?
Was that Billy Bob?
Yeah, Billy Bob.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, but no, that was good, and always great reviews. Fab4, thank you, Ted Davies, and thank you for all your great shows on the Rising Tide Broadcasting Network, and another good review. Thank you, Carl Wisman, and great show, guys. See, and we get you guys out of here in time to see Stupid O'Clock, also on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, and another good show in the bag. Thank you, Donna Carlene. Mwah! We love you. And from That's a Small Press Publisher is mocking us with his laughter. We need to get the rights to the Reading Rainbow theme so we can spoof it too. And Brian Hawkins says Mission Impossible was in syndication when we were kids.
I just don't remember it. I
Jeez,
knew
Eric.
of it, but I don't remember. I don't remember ever watching it.
Oh man, it's good stuff. Even the worst shows are better than a lot of the stuff that was going on at the time. And yes, and there we go. Hit the button, Frank. And how can you not like Leonard Nimoy as the man of many faces?
Yes.
It's the original. Yes, he played the amazing Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Sam Elliott was in for a season.
Mm-hmm.
And Leslie Ann Warren from Clue and Cinderella. So, and they had all kinds of great guest stars. Shush, Eric. All kinds of great guest stars like Larry Linville and Sid Haig.
Mm-hmm.
And Sid Haig was like in every other episode for about 3 seasons, and Larry Linville like showed up annually as the smarmy bad guy, but not at all like Frank Burns from MASH. So, and Ted Davies, who would know, says it's the Mandela effect. Just speaking, I believe that was a Motown group, wasn't it? Martha Reeves and the Mandelas. No, anyway, no, that was the subject of Ted Davies' show Wednesday night with Carl Witzman as guest host. The Truthmongers. Please check that show out. It was really terrific. Cindy kept saying I saw it on disc after I caught one on one of the vintage TV channels. And Ace by Amen, sorry I fell asleep. Well, thanks for nothing, Ace. It's like that old episode of the Dick Van Dyke Show. How do you sleep through the Guns of Navarone? You know what I'm saying? And actually, Nimoy was only in seasons 4 and 5. That's true. Right after he got out of Star Trek, which was also produced by Paramount, or by Desilu, rather, I should say, by Desilu, which was owned by Lucille Ball. So, and Martin Landau was the original man of many faces. Yes, he was. Roland Hand. I loves me my Mission Impossible.
Everybody's saying Manny Faces. I'm thinking of the He-Man character, Manny Faces.
Okay, you've redeemed yourself, Eric. Anyway, but no. And Stephen Hill was actually the leader of the IMF in the first season. He went on to do Law and Order, I believe it was.
Peter Lupo.
Peter Lupus, yeah. He was
And
Superman in a bunch of cartoons.
And
Tom
Tom Cruise was great too. That's all I know.
Yeah, super cast. So, and point for Eric. And good evening, all. Carl, we'll see you later on, and probably make our way over to Stupid O'Clock, which should be starting about now. And Ace Bonnie, take care, all. Ace, good to have you here, man. I hope you have a great evening, my friend. So, and I made mention earlier of something I was looking forward to in May. IDW just announced that they got the rights to reprint the 5-issue run of Captain Action, originally from DC back circa 1967-68. One of my favorite comics at the time. The first issue was written by Jim Shooter. The first 2 issues actually were written by Jim Shooter, and the first issue was drawn by Wally Wood. And then Gil Kane took over penciling after that issue, and Gil Kane actually wrote the issues 3 through 5. It was very intelligently done. It was way different than the Captain Action you see now.
Shooter's take on that character at first put me on the path of studying every mythology I could get my hands on as a kid, because Captain Action was like Captain Marvel at the time, or Shazam, because he could call upon the powers of ancient gods, all of them. I mean, not all at one time. He had to choose like 3 at a time, but he had coins that represented different
Oh,
powers.
Yeah.
So, and the first issue, it's not just Hercules and Thor. I mean, those are great, but there's a whole bunch of Asian deities and others that he took weird powers. So I thought that was extremely creative. Probably also hard to write because they did that the first two, the Origin 1 and 2 issues, and then Shooter was off, and Gil Kane wrote them and drew them. And it's like, okay, we're going to fuse these two. He's got super speed, or his kid's got super speed, and he's got 2 coins fused together with, I don't know, strength, flight, and invulnerability.
Yeah.
There we go. Now he's all fixed up. So he kind of turned him into a. But one of my favorite obscure characters. If you don't believe me, we have talked at length about him on the B-list boosters of Back Issue Breakfast Club before. So look that up on YouTube, guy, because he's a fascinating, cool character, I think.
Yeah, seriously. It was excellently done books. So I was excited, and there's supposed to be some sort of bonus material in there. I can't imagine what, but I'm, because they were licensed, DC pretty much can't reprint them anymore.
Right.
So I'm excited to see them back in print. And if you guys, the 2 youngsters down there, get a chance to look at those books, I think you'll understand why Clyde and I are like, oh yeah.
I saw you say something about it earlier, and I was like, Captain Action, isn't that the G.I. Joe version over in Britain? And I think that was Action Man.
Action
that
Man.
was Action Man. Yes, I was like, that was Action
I like
Man,
G.I. Joe. Maybe I will.
Well, the thing is, the original G.I. Joe, the tall one, it and Captain Action were, I believe, the bodies were from the same mold. Just slightly different face. No,
I strongly disagrees with you.
He's like, nope.
No, actually,
you are wrong, sir.
I am prepared to be educated.
Now, because I had 12-inch action figures for both, and I had some hand-me-down old costumes, so I would put the Superman on my G.I. Joe, who looked kind of like Superman, and it was like Wayne Boring had drawn him. Very, very broad.
Big barrel chest.
Then if you put him on the Captain Action figure, Captain Action was made to really be superheroic looking. And he, much thinner, a whole different body sculpt.
Yeah. Was Captain Action Amigo?
Actually, the guy that Ideal Toys, but he begat. He was, he started off that way, and then they it only lasted a couple of years. It was a really expensive licensing. And then the guy behind the Ideal push is one of them that helped found Mego, and so then they made a lot of superhero action figures later on, but still managed not to get Green Lantern and Flash in there, and still do. Yeah,
nice.
I broke down and bought it.
Does Cookie know?
We'll find out tomorrow how well that starts a fire.
Right.
Brian, if Carl Witzman's hosting tomorrow's show, you'll know what happened. She was there when I bought it. She was like, Brian, if it'll shut you up, go buy it. Okay. Yeah, so... But no, the Captain Actions were cool. What I was going to say is that it and G.I. Joe were close enough. My Captain Action was not only the Phantom and Superman, Batman, and Flash Gordon. It was also an astronaut and a frogman. So
Right. Yeah, the clothes were interchangeable, more or less, except that Captain Action even had, with G.I. Joe, you had those weird hands.
Kung Fu grip.
Well, later on. Not originally, though. First of all, you had these weird looking that don't hold anything very well. Captain Action,
they were kind of like this. They look like a George Tuska hand.
Yeah, and
but they were because a couple of characters like Flash Gordon all had guns,
right? And Lone Ranger,
so they were molded to that the guns would fit in there.
Yeah, and it held things much better. It was much more posable and just really. For the time, a really cool action figure. The first time that they ever made Spider-Man into an action figure.
Yeah.
Period. So.
It had some, and we hear a car outside. No, and some beautiful Kurt Schaffenberger artwork on the, I believe it was on the
ads.
The ads, yeah.
And Wallace Wood did the first issues, the first 2 issues, and then Gil Kane took over. And those are the most beautifully illustrated. He really made those exciting and bounce off the page in that Gil Kane way. But I just didn't like it when they made him into just sort of a Superman knockoff.
Yeah.
But,
which was kind of funny because the editor on the first 2 issues was Mort Weisinger, who was editing Superman. So
and
took over.
I like it when Shooter goes, "Yeah, they told me what they wanted, and what they wanted on the cover. I guess Weisinger, the editors, wanted on the cover was Captain Action saying, 'Back off, Superman, I've got this,'" which, it lasted 5 issues, so it shows you the wisdom of telling your main character at the time to just back off. You're not getting any invites to the Justice League. There's probably not a big future for you in the DC line once you tell Superman to shove off and let you handle everything. So
really. Well, we've got some more comments here. Ted Davies Artistry has given in to the dark side. Superman 78 on the list. BKM, I'm getting it. Good man.
Put King Spawn on there too, Ted. Jeez.
Yeah, please. You're in for some good reading. And Brian Hawkins doesn't remember much about the show other than the opening, and that's all you need to know, really. And Brian Hawkins says that was my one DC book this week. Ted, you will enjoy it. And yes, and Ultraman, BKM, nice knowing you. But I die happy.
Yeah, we'll bury you with it. How's that?
Yeah, if there's anything left of either of us. No, the only thing that is wrong about this.
The hands?
The hands, yes.
Yeah,
the hands
I heard about
should not
that.
be curved. The hands should be straight because of the way Ultraman does his powers. Yeah, just like that, Brian. And you know why?
Man.
No, and here's and this will give you an idea. That's not what the doll looks like, obviously. But no, the reason why Eric or
doll, sir?
They're dolly, so there.
No.
The newer one, the newest release does have the correct hands.
Yes, I heard that.
But they're red and they will not match that.
And somebody told me that they may be making more of these.
They got all kinds of stuff out there.
Because I think the next one's supposed to be Ultra 7, I think it is, Ultraman Jack, which was the next series. But the thing is, though, Brian, the guy who created Ultraman was a devout Christian. So that's basically his version of the sign of the cross.
I've only got 2 Migos.
Yes.
But I had so many as a kid. I remember having a Superman, a Spider-Man, and I want to say the Chips dolls action figures I had were Migos. Until Eric Estrada fell off the handlebars of my bike, and I slammed on the brakes, but his crotch went right up under my tire, so it just...
They'll do it every time, man. I'm telling you.
So there's only 2 I got right now.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. I almost bought the Stan Lee. Yeah. But
so when you were a kid, Eric, what was your favorite Mego figure?
Mego? It had to be Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I remember Spider-Man.
His clothes always came off, so he had Spider-Man's little underwear, naked with his big head.
Yeah.
And they had the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. But
Conan.
I don't know if my Lone Ranger doll was Mego or not. I can't remember.
No, that was Gabriel.
Okay, because it seemed bigger. Yeah, that I remember.
Yeah.
I did not have any of those because I am a lot younger than you.
And about to not get any older. Somebody tell him a joke.
Trying to think what I might have. That's probably the oldest toy I have around here. It's got to be one of the G.I. Joes in the closet behind me here. Well, the 3 3/4.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think my father gave away my toy collection when I was about 13. I think that's
the oldest because it's one of the really hard head Joes, and even one of those deals where the body was not in great shape, and I had to get replacement pieces and parts to get it leveled back out. But the head was like it had never come out of the package. It was just almost perfect.
Nice.
But it's probably my oldest GI. My oldest.
Does it have the flocked hair too? Or is it plastic?
No, it's plastic.
Okay, I almost looked like it was flocked.
The flocked hair came late 60s, early 70s. This guy's from the early 60s, maybe the first generation of GI Joes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the oldest toys that I have are He-Mans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the oldest ones that I have that I didn't go back and buy, but that I bought off the counter was probably I've got some $6 million man stuff. I've got the action figure.
Eric's going back in the closet.
Oh no!
Oh dear!
We've
It'll be like Pepper McGee's closet, and he'll be engulfed in junk.
He brings out the
also, the little viewers, they had film inside. You hold them up to a light, and you turn the crank, and it was the introduction to the show.
That's cool.
It was very cool. I'll see if I can find them sometime and bring them up here.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm the only one who can look inside them. It'd be fascinating TV.
We'll be like, yeah, Brian, that's super cool.
Yeah.
This is a random one I pulled out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's Alpine.
Dude, I have that. I have that one. Awesome.
I think I've got 2 of his backpacks. I got the one pickaxe. I'm missing the other grappling hook, though. I think he had 2 grappling hooks. I do have the gun. So, and the file card, of course.
Nice.
Yeah. I've sold a couple of those recently. Well, it's been a few months. I sold the mail away that was a Star Duster. I didn't know. I didn't know how much he was worth until it went up to like $200 on my auction. I was like, okay. I think it cost me 5 flag points and $5 shipping.
And I've got like a William Refrigerator Perry.
I sold him for about 60.
Oh, nice. It's not on the card or anything, but still.
No.
But
all mine have been loose because I played with them all.
Oh, cool. And Joe D. McPhee from the Decimal Small Press Publisher, Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Shakes an angry fist at Mego. Nubia was not a villain. You know that, and I know that, but apparently the Mego powers that be weren't quite as illuminated as we are, so...
Well, while we're talking collectibles, there's 2 things that I have looked for as an adult. Even with the internet, can't find them. So I'm just going to throw them out there. I even checked. One is a lunchbox, and I checked with lunchbox collectors, and nobody knows what this was. So I don't know if it was an old Ohio Arts, which was kind of a knockoff company, secondary company. But this was a lunchbox that would have come out around 65, 66, and it was smaller than your normal Thermos brand or Aladdin brand lunchboxes, and had no thermos in it. Instead, it had what seemed at the time fairly accurate space capsules and rockets and launchers from NASA. And in the handle was the regular plastic handle, but it had a secret latch, and you open it up and you could put your milk money in there. That's why they didn't have a thermos they made.
Oh.
Yeah, it's real distinctive, and I have not seen one anywhere.
I hadn't thought about those in decades. I forgot those existed. Yeah, because I think a couple of my schoolmates had that.
And the other thing is, the first G.I. Joe I had was actually a blow molded knockoff. Somebody had taken an actual G.I. Joe and they just made a blow mold. They did this with Captain Action later on too. So he was Ken articulated, it was like this. And he had all the stuff. He had all the same stuff that eventually fit my G.I. Joe. But you find knockoffs of Captain Action quite a bit. They seem to be more collectible. I have not found a knockoff of G.I. Joe like that. And if they weren't too expensive, I would love to add one to my collection just because I had that was my first action figure, and I was about 4 when my mom got it for me. So, but anybody out there have any heads up or places to look? I appreciate it.
Yeah. So
it was a metal lunchbox, Clyde?
Yeah.
What was on the outside? Do you remember?
It had a space capsule, and it had a like a booster rocket, like a launch, or maybe it may have had a astronaut doing a spacewalk on one side or on the front. The artwork was all relatable to NASA, and there were other lunchboxes that were like that, but most of those actually have a thermos, and they're a thermos brand or they're Aladdin, and this was not. It had no thermos, and it wasn't big enough to accommodate a thermos. It was about 3/4 the size of the traditional metal lunchboxes.
Hmm. I
Interesting.
I don't remember. I didn't have that obviously, but I remember one of my favorite toys as a kid was it was a white rocket
Mm-hmm.
that broke up into I think 3 pieces. It came with little white plastic astronauts. And
Yeah.
that had to be in
Oh,
the early
yes.
70s. It was
I
it was
remember
real
those.
tall.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, it was white. I remember the plastic, and I had stickers, of course. I had to be some cheap toy for me to even have it, but I loved that thing.
Yeah.
Because it had like the little capsule on top that came off. It was cool. Yeah, I missed that.
Some of the ones that they had in the late 60s like that had like a little rocket sled that the guy could get in with the console, and had like little pods that were see-through at the top, and you could put the guys in there and close them up like a little environment.
Oh.
Because I remember taking out in the driveway that looked rocky enough to be the moon and making a moon city, but there was also like a Saturn rocket mock-up like that, and a lunar lander and stuff that went with it. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, and that put me in mind. A show I loved when I was very, very young was called Fireball XL5.
Mhm.
It ran on Saturday mornings and was done by the same people who did like Stingray and
Mhm.
Thunderbirds,
Mhm.
all those, and UFO. And they had
Jerry Anderson.
Jerry and
Yeah.
Sylvia Anderson, exactly. And it was like a long thruster unit, and then a small like detachable the command module basically.
Right.
And it detached, and there was like the doors opened on top. You could see in it. It was a perfect replica from the show, and all of the characters they weren't you couldn't stand them up because they were sitting. They had these kind of like jet cycles that they rode through space.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a place inside the capsule where you could open up the back. I think it was in the back section. You open up the top doors and you could click down and put them in there, and you could slide the characters in behind the wheel or the steering wheel of the ship. Yes, like all good spaceships, they had steering wheels. Anyway, so in an area where up and down is irrelevant. But no, I love that thing. And that was part of my collection. Those are my Captain Actions, my G.I. Joes. That was all the stuff my father gave away when I was 13 to a total stranger because he decided I was too old for that stuff anymore. So
my condolences.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And if my father is watching this, yes, I'm still holding a grudge. But now I'm tall enough. I've got reach, man. I'm telling you. Anyway, let's see. Here we go. From the desk of a small press publisher. If you ever broke out a Steeler or a first generation Snake Eyes, I would be floored.
I did not have the Mobat, which Steeler was the tank driver. I did. My first G.I. Joe was the straight arm Snake Eyes before they went to the swivels, and his arm broke out in my front yard playing in the rocks, and a rocket fell. But I know I don't have Snake Eyes anymore. I never had Steeler. I do have a Mobat laying around, and I do have a HAL laser cannon that I picked up at a yard sale for like $5, but it's missing the TV monitor that goes in front of the laser cannon seat.
Nice. Yeah. And I'm gonna have to look up my G.I. Joe now that I know it's worth at least $60. Anyway, and Brian Hawkins says former wrestler Batista was a big lunchbox collector. Maybe that's why he was broke before he got the drag roll. Well, here's a bit of it could be. I was like, Jim Hambrick, who owns the Superman Museum in Metropolis, Illinois, his collection began with a Superman lunchbox. He was feeling ill, and he had to be hospitalized, and to cheer him up, his mom got him a Superman lunchbox, which he still owns.
Have you seen it?
The lunchbox?
Mm-hmm.
I think I may have at one point.
Is it the embossed one that's got like the giant robot that he's knocking in the sky?
I can't remember.
That's the first one that
I think that'd be it.
I had my mom got me. She always got to the store late when the school supplies were. So I got the Yellow Submarine.
Oh, nice.
Which ends up being extremely collectible. But at the time, I'm like, I don't like this. I don't know this. I hate this. But other people had the Green Hornet, and they had Batman, and most of those had an embossment. They were
Right.
the metal was made into shapes.
Yeah.
And the Superman, if I remember right, the Superman, it always got me. Your friend's over there eating his lunch, and you're like, could you turn that to the other picture? Oh, that's so cool. And it was a Superman
We're all
smacking a
looking at
giant
each other's
robot.
lunch boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just
Or
wondered if
usually
that was
one
what he
side
had.
was embossed, but the other was flat.
I
right.
had a brown bag.
Was it
I got a
embossed,
rock.
Eric?
I
I had to draw on it for my own
Yeah.
pictures.
I got a rock.
And now those bags are worth thousands now because they have Eric's scribblings on them. So there. Oh, Clyde's got something.
That's so cool.
I got a chocolate bar. I got a quarter. I got a rock.
And he's actually holding. See if I can get it up here. He's actually holding the rock. You can see it.
That's
Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, my
That is
God.
so
That's
cool.
beautiful. That's beautiful. I love that. And Ted Davies Artistry says, Hawkins, I got the Firefly figure. Just saying.
Ooh.
I know I have the. I have to look see if I still have Firefly, but I know I still have the his little walkie-talkie, which sells for $20 by itself. Apparently.
wow.
Wow.
Holy cats.
Yes, I've clearanced out a lot of my older GI Joes. As more toys come in, some toys just got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially since the GI Joes they're making right now are $20 a piece. Some of the stuff I paid $1.99 that I can get $50 for. Yeah, it's got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I'm looking at my comics and a lot of my toys now. It's like, okay, I'm going to move them out and get little cash so I can get something cooler. So I'm not looking to get rich off of them, but
Well, I sold toys to get my my Huey on tablet here.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, the Pit Build-A-Figure from the old who was making it? I guess Toy Biz was making them. Then it was a Build-A-Figure for Dale Keown's Pit. So he stood like this tall, and he was so cool. And I put him on eBay. I didn't even know why and it was almost enough alone for this. So.
Holy
Wow.
cow!
Wow.
Yeah, and I've got a whole bunch of Spawn stuff from like when
What?
he first came out. Yeah, a bunch of Spawn toys from Toy Biz, I think it was. Yeah,
Wow.
why, yes,
Oh,
Brian,
I don't
I
think
do.
I don't think it would have been Toy Biz. Probably
Who
been
was
McFarlane
it?
Toys.
Oh yes, Clyde! Holy cow!
This is one of those
Nice.
childhood relics. Yeah, this is my introduction to Thor originally. It's got his
Yeah.
origin story, and I've had it stacked up with my LPs for years, and I just got curious the other day and looked it up and went, "Holy cats! I'm going to have to find a better place to put this." They're really, really, they are costly now. So
Yeah. Now is that the box one?
no, it's just the sleeve.
Oh, okay. Because I had the boxed one. There was an Avengers 4, The Journey into Mystery 83, and I don't remember what the other two were.
One of them was a
But-
Spider-Man.
Yes.
I can't. Was the other one the Hulk? Maybe I don't remember.
I think
don't
you're right.
remember
I
for
think
sure.
you may be right. But have you played that yet?
Oh, I played it for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's the same one I had, and I think it is, it's like, well, let's see. Let me find a good example here. Let's see if I can find one. Yeah, it's like, see this panel here where it says Koresh.
Mhm, yeah.
Well, instead of, yes, Clyde knows where I'm going.
Yeah.
Instead of hearing like a sort of sound, you'd have some guy in an echo chamber going, Crash. It was hilarious.
And then they would have
Unintentionally hilarious.
they have some sound effects. Like I remember Thor dropped the stone men from Saturn dropped a
Saturn,
big
yes.
cage on him,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Iron bars do not a prison make."
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
but very
So they-
few.
But very few, yeah. And
Yeah.
now the box set that I had like that, and I got them at the same time, was a Superman box set with the Superman of America patch,
I still
and
have
it
that.
had the origin story. The story of Superman, who he is and how he came to be.
Written by Bill Finger.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, and that one was well done. The Marvel ones,
But then there's the backup story, because they got the origin on one side. You flip the LP, and they've got another story of Superman, and they've got that goofy Wayne Boring story from the 50s where he's got the little Superman coming out of his hand. He's got like rainbow things that come out of his fingers, and he makes the little Superman that flies around and does stuff. And I remember even as a kid, going, really? You couldn't have been like the origin of Supergirl or just something else like you had to put that one in there. It's a weird story. And then now that one had special sound effects like, Superman was a normal guy. He'd been reduced by, I forget what, but something to being a normal guy, but he could project a little Superman out of his hands.
Right. Yeah. I remember that. It was from an Action Comics. I just picked it up again recently. And Ted Davies Artistry says Star Wars toys on TED Talks every Thursday.
I would have listened to that live today, but I was so deep into the Mandela episode from last night. I didn't want to turn away.
Yeah, see, it was a good show. Ted does a lot of great shows. It was like,
he's live now. No, I'm too interested in this one. I have to catch that one and rerun too.
There you go. And Brian Hawkins says, I have the original Spawn figure still. I don't know if the old Spawn figures are worth much. No, because they made 1 billion of them. About 5 for every man, woman, and child in the planet. So I don't think
the artist who drew the comic book for the Spawn Alley playset.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yep. He just did a Secret Comics Presents. It's a comic book that crowdfunded on Indiegogo, and I did the back cover for that.
Oh, very nice. Very, very nice. Well, I see we have run almost 2.5 hours here, so I think we need to probably get off and get going here. So, and don't read any more into that than what I said. Anyway, I think let's go around the room and tell everybody why you are so awesome, who you are, and favorite flavor of ice cream. Let's start with Brian. Oh, I'm sorry, Brian.
Whoa!
Brian, I'm sorry. I didn't want to do that. Which one of us bet on 9:30 that we killed him? Anyway, let's start with Brian Rodman. Brian, tell everybody how they can keep up with you, okay?
Yeah, I'm Brian Rodman, and easiest way to keep up with me is brianrodman.com. From there, you can, just see all my social media stuff, as well as Patreon and whatever Kickstarter we've got going on. And October 1st, we will be launching our next issue of Memoirs of an Angel. So that's issue 8. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be extended issue, 32 pages. So you don't want to miss it. So thanks for having me, Brian. This has been a great show.
It has been a great show because you've been on it, brother. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. And let's go to Eric S. Hawkins. Eric, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me in places where there's things.
Doing stuff.
Well, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Just about everywhere. You can find me. Yeah, I do comic stuff. No big deal.
Yeah.
Chocolate. I love chocolate ice cream.
Okay, there we go. All right. And next is Clyde Hall. How can the world keep up with you, sir?
Well, I'm cool because these guys let me hang out with them and we let me talk about toys and comics with them. So that's where my cool factor lies. But I'm an independent author, and you can find some of my work with the original character of B-Man in Stormgate Press publications of Pulp Reality 1 and 2. You can find them at www.stormgatepress.com. They are both available on Amazon, and we're getting ready to put out Pulp Reality number 3, which has the third in a series of B-Man stories. Did want to mention real quick, I was going to do it earlier and forgot. If you read the Spider-Man Life Story, the series, they actually did an annual, and I thought that was an odd thing because the series is done. It was a limited series. So to do an annual seemed an odd thing. It's a Chip Zdarsky story. It's very well worth it. We didn't touch much on Marvel stuff this week, but Amazing Fantasy number 2 and that. If you're looking for some Marvel titles, and if you haven't read Spider-Man Life Story, the annual won't mean anything to you probably. But if you have, it's worth picking up. It's a very good story about J. Jonah Jameson. So there's a side recommendation. But you can follow me on Facebook under Clyde Hall or under Radiating Positive Vibes with author Clyde Hall. You can join up there, send me a friend's request, and chances are I'll probably say, yes, I want more friends.
There you go. Well, you are our friend, and we couldn't be happier. Thank you so much, Clyde. And thank you all for attending tonight. Appreciate you all. Cindy Cap says, we are missing you already. I didn't know you were aiming at us. Thanks for hosting the adventure. Thank you, Cindy. Mwah, CKOEPP.com. Check out her website and sign up for that great free newsletter of hers. And Ted Davies, Castle Grayskull on TED Talk soon.
Ooh. Yes. Oh,
damn it, Ted. Playing with my emotions, are you? Anyway, Ted Davies every Tuesday at 10 a.m. And Thursdays at 10 a.m. And Drinking with the Davies is coming back soon. Friday at, I believe, 7 p.m. now. The schedule is changing on the Rising Tide Broadcasting Network, but please take a note of this because we've got all kinds of really cool shows for you. 7 days a week. And I'm also going to be announcing probably early next week my brand new show that I will be doing 7 days a week for the foreseeable future because something is horribly wrong with me. But anyway, check out this group. They are a great group of broadcasters, all of them with similar ethics and all rowing in the same direction, trying to help each other grow their YouTube channels and Facebook pages. Please check them out. You're going to get some great entertainment. Speaking of checking out, check out our Patreon page. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can support your favorite creators with a modest monthly stipend. Even as low as $1 helps us a lot. These guys and gals are helping us keep this show and other shows like it on the air. We appreciate each and every one of them, but it's not like they're giving it to us and all they're getting is broadcasting. Nope. We are also giving them looks at works in progress as well as exclusive blogs and all kinds of goodies. Please go to www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris and see what I can offer you. And speaking of a great offer, I think you should offer Jeffrey Hayes some money to do your book cover because he does great book covers, as you're about to see, because they're the sponsor of this episode. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. Plasma Fire Graphics is one-stop shopping for not just wraparound book covers, but also the graphics you need for social media to sell your work and beautiful book trailers like you just saw. Check them out. Check them out there on their Facebook page and go to plasmafiregraphics.com to contact Jeffrey Hayes directly and ask for his great rates. All right. You can afford them. You can't afford not to. And that's Plasma Fire Graphics when the look of your book matters to you because it matters to your readers. And another programming note, tomorrow morning, Nevermind the Furthermore will be on at 9:30 in the morning because Cookie has physical therapy for her broken elbow. So we have to take her to that. She's not ready to drive a car yet, so she needs me still. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope if you're watching us on Facebook, give us a like if you would, if you enjoyed any part of it. Like the page you're watching it on if you haven't already. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up. Ring that bell when you subscribe so you'll be notified of all the great programming we've got coming your way. And don't forget our YouTube challenge. If my channel, Brian K. Morris Rising Tide, can get 1,100 subscribers by the end of Halloween night, we will have a special 12-hour Nevermind the Furthermore with guests and giveaways. It's going to be a fun time. And hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back next week with more reviews and comments and falderall abounding. So as always, folks, stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow on Nevermind the Furthermore and next week on issue 27, holy cow, of Comic Book Spectrum. Take care and support your local comic book shop.
Thank you for watching Comic Book Spectrum, a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. Please join us next week for another look at comics, past, present, and future. If you enjoyed this, please give the show a like and be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. To receive our free monthly newsletter, go to www.risingtide.pub and be sure to give the Rising Tide Broadcast Network page on Facebook a like in order to receive news about upcoming shows including Clever Title Pending, Stupid O'Clock, Clever as Hail, Comics Chaos and Sass, Tidbits and Scribbles, the Historical Fencing Guild, and never mind the Furthermore. See you next week.